A singer in a smoky room.
Just after 2 o'clock. Happy Tuesday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook, as always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. Where it is Tuesday. And you know what that means? That is your chance to win big in Lotto Max to the tune of $50 million. Good luck at PlayAlberta.ca. The orders, once again, no offensive luck. Although I'm not a big believer in luck. Surely get the odd bounce here and there, but scoring is a skill. And for a lot of this season, the Orders have done everything to get to the net. They've done everything to create chances. And when they're around, they couldn't do it. Now, it started early. Henrique did the shot he wanted, got a little bit too much on it, hits bar, goes up rather than down. It would have been 1-0, 2 minutes in? He was left wide open in front of the net. He had another quality chance later in the game. Hyman had multiple quality chances. Can't say it was from lack of chances for the Orders last night, but lack of finish for them, especially, I think, in the first two periods. New Jersey, I thought, did a better job of limiting chances in the third. You combine that with the fact that the Orders' special teams are anything but special right now. They are awful. Like, come on. You can't continually be this bad if you want to be competitive long term. Like, you can, the Orders, their 5-on-5 play is keeping them a 500 team. Their power play is 14.7%. That is 26th in the National Hockey League. Their penalty kill, oh, God, like, look away. It's the old Kramer. Look away. I'm hideous. 60%. They're 5% worse than every other team. They're 10% worse than all the teams except for. Like, they are brutal on the power play. Hell, half the league is 20% better. 20. So the Orders got a long way to go to try to get their penalty kill. Now, when you start this bad, it's virtually impossible for them to really, at the end of the season, be a great penalty kill. It's not going to happen because they've been so bad thus far on the PK. And it's a combination of, you need some saves. No question. You need some better reads. Last night, hey, Adam Henrique, I give him credit, owned up to it right afterwards. Said, you know what? I make a wrong turn there. That one's directly on me. Turn the wrong way, turn the outside rather than inside. Guys wide open in the hash marks. Boom. Goal. And that pretty much salted the game away for the Orders. And when you've allowed 14 goals on the penalty kill in 35 chances, like, they're allowing more than one. They basically go into every game trailing 1-0 on average. They've played 13 games. They've allowed 14 power play goals. Like, you're down 1-0 before every game starts. It's not great odds. Not great odds at all. So they'll have to sort that out. They had an optional skate today. Didn't do much on that. Not a lot of guys skating. So we'll see. Like, when you're -9, because what do they got? 5 power play goals? When you're -9 on special teams, guess what? It's hard to be competitive. It's just that simple. So they'll have to go back to the drawing board and try to start somewhere to get their team on track with special teams. Because until that happens, I think they're going to be a win one, lose one, win one, lose one kind of team. And the good news for the Orders is, where they are in points percentage is not a terrible spot to be in. They haven't dug themselves a massive hole like they did last year. I guess that's the positive for them. But really, you can crack down to the Orders are -9 on special teams. They're -10 overall in the season. Now, they've given up a few empty net goals, so that'd probably do it as well. But there's your difference. You can look at a lot of things. I know everybody just wants to blame the goaltenders. It seems like, can the goalie score goals? Can the goalie score goals? Can the goalies play better? 100%. But stop making it all about the goaltending. I don't understand what the hell's going on. Everybody just, it's the goalies. Geez, it's easy. Let's just blame the one person. It's the goalies. It's not just the goalies. They don't play offense. They have nothing to do with it. I told you the numbers last year in the NHL. Do you know what percentage of games? And we're talking 1,320 games. Pretty big number of games. 117 of them, 8.7% of those games came on victories where you had 2 or fewer goals scored and didn't go to a shootout. So some of those 2-2 games that go to a shootout didn't include those. You scored 2 goals or less, guess what? Your chances of winning, not very good at all. So, yeah, sure, you can say, I guess the goaltenders, they've got to allow 0 or 1 goals for the Oilers to win. That's the rationale. It doesn't make sense to me. They need guys to finish. Simple. And it's like if a goalie misses a save he should make, like no one ever says, well, you know what? Geez, they'll get it back. Nope. And I love offense. You know me, I love offense, but doesn't mean that they're above criticism at all. This offense right now is simply not good. So we'll see when they want to get going. But their power play, now I know they don't get a lot of power play chances, but right now their power play is a momentum sponge. Right? We've talked about no one wants to be a fun sponge. You just suck up all the fun. Well, they suck up the momentum. That power play yesterday early in the third period was dreadful. They got nothing done. And it sagged the life out of the arena. Even the fans were just like, oh, God, that was painful. It's like a punch in the gut to the fans. Watching it took all the air out of the sails. And it was quiet after that. Was pretty much game over right from there. You score there, it's 2-1. The building's loud. You got some momentum. Away we go. And it went completely opposite. So, the good news for the Oilers is they managed to win some games despite having horrific special teams. So good on them. Right? They their total goals for against basically is due to their -6 against Winnipeg and -5 against Columbus. Right? And then what are they -3? Like when they do lose, they lose big. That's hurt them. But if you're looking at consistency, the goalies have at least had some good games. How many good games have you had from both the power play and the penalty kill? 1? Maybe 2. I'd have to look it up, but probably squeezing 1 out. So that's been a season-long problem. Goaltending hasn't been as consistent as you want. I think that's fair. But their offense, they had the 2 games without McDavid. They got 5 and 4 goals. Great. 1 into an empty net, but still, goals are goals. And then they revert kind of back to what they were prior, even with McDavid, when he was only a point-a-game player, which for him is quite low. So they got Vegas in town tomorrow. Now, the good news with Vegas coming to town is that Vegas, they're good, but they're infinitely better on the road. How about winless on the road? Vegas, they're Jekyll and Hyde. At home, 8-0. On the road, 0-3-1. And they will come to Edmonton tomorrow. So Oilers will be hoping that trend continues. Hey, I get that some teams are better at home and away, but that is an odd stat early on this season for the Golden Knights. So we'll look to see how they get going. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is our EWL inbox. That's where you can get a hold of us. Lineup today, Ryan Holt's going to join us at Condors. Oh, my God. You want to talk about injury problems? They are banged up. Drake Caggiula got reassigned to Bakersfield today, and the Oilers are in conversations. They're looking to try to sign a forward to a PTO just so they can have enough forwards, because they don't even have any guys down in the ECHL that they can recall. Like, that is some thin times for them injury-wise. So we'll talk to Holt about that. Derek Van Diest will join us in the first hour. TR will be by in hour number 2. We got Ryan's rant. Struddy coming up at 4:20. We'll hear from Spec, Annie Petrillo at 5:20 today. Her and DVD swap times just for work commitments. So for you regular Tuesday listeners, a little bit of a change up there. As always, we'll get your thoughts. And how about this? Just to kick off the show, because many of you, you know what? It's a tough time. The Oilers get shut out again last night. And every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, you can score the Fan Day deals at McDonald's through the app, but only through the app. So you download the McDonald's app, and you get extra rewards. But also on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, you get $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or a filet of fish. The Fan Day deal. Not bad. So in honor of that, right now, just because I know some of you, hey, who doesn't like some free food? We'll give you a $50 GC courtesy of McDonald's. All you have to do is text in your name and your favorite McDonald's item. Text it into 833-401-1440, and you'll be winning a $50 GC. And those who don't win, hey, you can get the Fan Day deal every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Also, it's the NFL trade deadline. Declan Kruger is in this week for Connor Halley. Deck, a few deals. Any stand out to you?
The biggest one for me, that it wasn't a standout deal in terms of the team necessarily got infinitely better, but I was just so surprised the Dallas Cowboys all of a sudden became buyers. They go out, they get Jonathan Mingo for a 4th-round pick. The Panthers obviously going to be sellers, but the Cowboys are sitting there. I think they're clearly the 3rd best team in their own division. Dak Prescott is now on IR. I get you want to build something for the future, but it just seemed to me to be a really weird time to go and get that guy. The other one, the big one that people are probably going to be talking about, New Orleans Saints cornerback, perennial Pro Bowler Marshawn Lattimore. He is heading to Washington. Washington finally has a secondary. It is a good deal. He's a very, very good player. I like him a lot. He's a dog. Washington, they're building something. I think they're poised to be the 2nd seed in the NFC come playoff time.
Yeah, the Cowboys, Mingo, so they gave up a 4th. KC gave up a 5th for DeAndre Hopkins. Am I missing something there?
I think the one thing the Cowboys look to, apparently, this is what I read.
Is they think Mingo is going to be there long term?
Yeah, Jerry Jones was apparently very high on him during the draft process. They obviously didn't get him in the draft, but they think this guy has quite a ceiling that can be used, for lack of a better word, for a long time for this Cowboys organization. So I think that's where it comes from. Whereas DeAndre Hopkins is a true 1, maybe 2 season rental.
Yeah. So there you go. Some deals in the National Football League. And hey, what about the Chiefs? All they do is win. Yeah, it's a tight game. You think it's close, and they win. This time in overtime, Pat Mahomes, who remember, there's, Pat Mahomes, I'm not sure he's any good anymore. Look at the amount of interceptions he throws, yada, yada, yada. I think anybody who is not jumping on board Pat Mahomes, hey, his numbers definitely fair this year. If you want to say that his numbers aren't going to get him in the MVP conversation for this season, I think that's totally fair. Nothing wrong with that. But don't confuse that with Mahomes isn't good. Those are two very different things in my books. Was he 34-44, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions? I still, when it's crunch time, and look at his, now he gets DeAndre Hopkins. First of all, what a catch before that first touchdown of his. Oh my God, that was an unbelievable catch. But you look at Travis Kelce back, what, he had 14 catches last night? DeAndre Hopkins, 2 touchdowns. Basically, it's like, hey, we got 2 guys, and that's who we're going to throw to. There's no Pacheco, although Hunt's been pretty good. There's no, they didn't replace. Well, I guess you can kind of say Hopkins replaced Rice, but they don't have 2 receivers. Look at some of the other teams and the weapons they have. Pat Mahomes is still a magician in crunch time, and man, it's hard to think you're going to be able to beat the Chiefs. Now, they did give up 24 to Tampa Bay, who didn't have their 2 best receivers. So maybe some think, hey, there's a chance. And there's a chance. Sure, the Ravens are good. The Bills are good. Now there's a chance. Bengals are coming on. But right now, the Chiefs are going to have to lose at least 3 games in their final 9 to not finish first. And then the Ravens and the Bills are going to have to like not lose a game. That's what's challenging, Deck, is that to beat KC is now you're going to have to go to Arrowhead most likely to beat them.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we obviously know what we do there. And just beyond that, like Patrick Mahomes cannot have his best season in the world, which we've seen this year. And obviously the defense steps up. Now you have to worry about that. But in the back of your mind, you're always going to be worried about that no matter what, even if we're playing a good game, even if we're forcing them to make defensive adjustments, even if we're rolling, even though he hasn't had the best season in the world, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He's still right there. So now you have to deal with that, not just in a playoff environment, but in a playoff environment on the road. It's just so tough to handle for opposing teams. And we've seen that year in, year out.
Yeah. Oh, it's been great. He's just their whole offensive play calling to me is exciting to watch. When we come back, Drake Kajula goes back to Bakersfield. The Condors, they make a trade yesterday. If you missed it during the order game, they made a trade because they had too many veterans. If you don't know, there's an AHL rule. You're allowed 5 veterans who have played 320 games or more in the AHL, NHL, or Euro Elite leagues combined. Right, you're allowed 5 of those players, and then you're allowed 1 kind of intermediate between 260 to 320 games played. And that's when the season begins. So Connor Carrick is that veteran this year. They actually had 6 because Josh Brown was down, and they were sitting out one of them every game. It's not ideal. So they make a trade yesterday, and they acquire Ronnie Attard, defenseman, right shot defenseman, in exchange for Ben Gleason. So Attard, 6'3", he's 25 pounds. He's played, I think, 28 NHL games, but he's kind of a tweener, similar to Gleason, right? I think it's a long shot that he's ever going to be in the NHL. So this is more an American League deal that allows them to not have to sit out a veteran. Now, the thing is, because of the injury to Peterson, they could have waited to make the trade, because now they don't have too many veterans with him hurt. But obviously they elected to make the deal. Now, we'll come back. We'll talk to Ryan Holt about that, all the injuries, get an update on Matt Savoy, Max Wayner, and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number one.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Schwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win friends with salad.
Need a truck? Want a great deal on a truck? Get into Wolf GMC Buick. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Take advantage of 0% financing on Sierra half-tons. Oh, and guess what? GMC employee pricing is back on all in-stock 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons. That means thousands of dollars in savings on GMC Sierra 3/4 ton and 1 ton. Also thousands off the industry-leading SUV, the GMC Yukon. Get to Wolf GMC Buick now and drive away with money off and a smile on. Just off the Anthony Henday.
Iron Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Catch the most anticipated battle of the year right here. The venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the Tyson versus Paul boxing watch party. Friday, November 15th. The biggest screens in the city. For $25, enjoy an all-you-can-eat buffet. Plus, drink features and great prizes. Doors open at 5 p.m. Action starts at 6 p.m. Tickets are limited, so get yours now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Notice how the last few months of the year all end in burr? Maybe because that's when the burr really starts. Sherwood Honda helps make sure you're road ready for winter conditions. They can service your vehicle of any make and model, and Sherwood have the tires you need to. When you feel the chill, remember to book an appointment with Burwood. That's Sherwood Honda.
To 223 on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Congratulations to Ricky. He was the winner. He's going to get the $50 GC courtesy of McDonald's. Apple pie, his favorite at McD's. Nice. I like it. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com, where stop in now. Volvo XC90s. The Volvo XC90 plug-in hybrids are in for 2025. Get one now. They're going fast at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Ryan Holt joins us once again, the voice of the Condors. Ryan, how you doing, man? Were you taking some pregame skates just in the off chance they might have to lace them up? Because there's a real shortage of forwards right now in Bakersfield.
There's a shortage of forwards, and we had to leave goaltending coach Kelly Gard back in Bakersfield. He's got a bad back, so we're hurting on and off the ice right now, but we're going to give it a go here tonight.
So is Drake Kajula going to be in time? Is he going to play tonight?
Yes, I think he arrives at 3 o'clock here, Edmonton to Calgary. So thankfully we're in Calgary, so not far away. And I think he's good to go tonight. He'll be with Savoy and Griffith up front. Which is needed. I don't know if I'm breaking any news, but Roby Arventi is out with injury, so he's going to miss some time here. And we'll try and patchwork it together here tonight, and hopefully get a win against a really good Calgary team.
What happened to Arventi?
I think it was aggravating the previous injury. I don't know if it's long term or how long. I think he's still kind of in the evaluation process, but looks like he'll probably be out at least tonight and tomorrow for sure.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's long term, man. Yeah, that's been a not good run for him. He had a good weekend, and then boom, he gets nicked up.
Yeah, it's tough, and I was kind of thinking about that over the weekend. He hadn't played competitively since last January, and then kind of gets thrown right back in it. And yeah, had a great debut on Friday, and then obviously, Saturday, I think that line kind of ran out of gas a little bit. They've been playing some big minutes. We've basically been a 2.5 line team here for the last week or so. But that's the life of the American Hockey League. And, getting Kajula back certainly helps. The team signs Braden Tracy this morning. He's been sitting around Calgary here for a week, and we'll give him a go here this week and see what he can do. And we'll go from there.
Braden Tracy, guy lit it up a few years in Moose Jaw in the Western Hockey League. So, a young guy. He got the 25 game PTO.
Yes, and it was interesting to see that he didn't have a contract. Obviously, Anaheim, San Diego's had a bunch of managerial kind of switches the last couple of years, and the folks that were there with drafting him aren't there anymore. But this is a guy who has had 30 goals over his last 2.5 seasons in San Diego. That was a bad San Diego team too. So that kind of weighs on a guy, I think. And hopefully it's a little bit of a fresh start for him. He's still just 23 years old, first round pick in 2019. Maybe some found money here on our trip to Calgary. He's been working out. He had kind of a PTO with Tucson early this season, but that wasn't working out. And here he is with an opportunity tonight, and he'll play tonight, and we'll see what he's got.
Any idea who he's going to play with?
He's going to be with Berglund and Stefan tonight. So I think that Grube line with Wright and D'Amato, they like that as kind of the second line for the time being. D'Amato had 2 goals and 3 points over the weekend. Wright scored on Saturday night too, and I think they found some chemistry there with those three. So Tracy will go with Berglund and Stefan here tonight.
Ryan Holt joins us. Can you kind of give us, so Yarventi's out, can you give us an update on who else is? We know Lane Peterson out, and it sounds like he's out for a while. Can you give us an update on the injuries and the timelines right now?
Yeah, Peterson and Hamlin are both week to week. They're not skating, in terms of anything physical on ice. Both of some injuries that they're dealing with here. So I wouldn't expect them, in November. I'd probably put them, I'm not a doctor, but I'd probably put them more week to week. So hopefully by December, I'd say. But 2 guys who are, obviously key pieces for the organization, key pieces leadership wise, and key pieces in the lineup offensively, for what they bring, especially down the middle of the ice. So, you lose, Noah Phil for all the right reasons, and then you lose 2 other centermen, for the wrong reasons, and all of a sudden that center depth is tested. That's why kind of Savoy has moved over and been the centerman on that top line here for the last 2 weeks, and we'll see what some other guys can do here, stepping up, trying to fill some void. Yeah,
they moved Savoy back to center, and it seems to kind of give him a little bit of a jump.
Well, and I think too, just naturally, Griffith is a right winger. He'd been playing the left side with Savoy when Kajula went up, and then just kind of, trying to find a way with Philp, when he was down here as kind of the de facto top line. And I thought Griffith didn't look that on left wing either, but given an opportunity for Savoy to play down the middle, I talked to Matty this week, and he sees the game, the same from both positions, is comfortable playing both positions. So, with the center depth that we have and not having, 3 centermen naturally, down the middle, it's an opportunity for him to kind of, get some reps there as well too.
Also a trade yesterday, although with the injuries to Peterson, you didn't have the veteran issue recently because he couldn't play, but you had to sit out a veteran every game because you had 6 and you're only allowed to dress 5. And so with the Gleason trade, you're bringing a D-man. Give us a little update on the new man, and is he going to play tonight? And where do you think he's going to play when he does play?
Yeah, Ronnie Adder joins us from Lehigh Valley. He's had 12 goals I think 2 years ago, 10 goals last year. 25 years old, but a guy who doesn't qualify as a veteran. He went to college after being drafted in the 3rd round in 2019. So that's I think the precipice for the trade. I would assume is just being able to free up a vet spot. Gives Ben Gleason another look to in another organization. It's not fair to especially a guy like Ben, who, is still relatively young, 26, 27 years old, who's had some time in the NHL, who, can maybe crack a roster like a Philadelphia potentially as well, too. So, I think it's a win-win on both sides. Adard comes over and he'll play tomorrow night. I think he literally just landed. He's been up since, I think 3:00 this morning, East Coast time and getting in here. Great work by Chris Horn, who does all of our team services. Somehow had him on a flight out of Lehigh Valley or Philly early this morning and getting him into Calgary. But he'll play tomorrow night. He has played his left side, and we do have a little bit of a log jam with right shot D-men with Warner and Kemp and Carrick, and Brown's already been playing his left side. So I would assume he would switch over to the left side. I don't think they're going to swap Kemp over to his left side. So I would assume Adard just kind of slides in maybe with Carrick kind of as that pair. I think they like Dineen and Warner together, and then Brown and Kemp as kind of the meat and potatoes shutdown type of decor, for that other pairing. So excited to see what he can bring. He's 6'3", 205. Just met him down the lobby, about an hour ago. So, good kid. And, he's looking for a fresh start here after 2 really good seasons in the AHL.
Well, he brought some offense from the back end too.
Absolutely. And I think that's, one of the benefits, I guess. And, just in looking at it, he's a year or 2 younger Ben Gleason, if you will, and, maybe a little more size, maybe a little more physicality to his game. But that offensive upside is still there. And that even goes back to his college days. I think he had 14 goals in 30 games, at Western Michigan. So, he has that offensive knack to his game too. And that's something that, we can use back there. Carrick is, obviously, a 2-way defenseman, same with Cam Dineen. But being able to have a guy back there that, can move the puck, but also, have a little offensive flair to a game is definitely beneficial, because that's what Gleason brought to this team. So I think if you're looking at it from a layman's perspective, I think you're replacing Ben Gleason with a little bit of a younger Ben Gleason that doesn't count against the vet cap. And honestly, gives Ronnie an opportunity at a different organization in the final year of his entry level.
Condors are 3-2-2-1 so far this season. As you mentioned, offense has been an issue. Only 21 goals in 8 games, and some of that's due to injury. Some of it's probably due to lack of finish. At times, kind of similar to the NHL club. But overall, if you look at their 8 games, how do you feel they've played?
Yeah, I think it's been a solid defensive opening 8 games. We've been in every contest. It was a 1-1 game the other night with Coachella Valley late in the second period. Unfortunately, gave up a shorthanded goal, gave up a goal in the next shift, and that was kind of all she wrote. But that game's a lot tighter as well too. And I think this is a telling road trip, right? Like this is an AHL road trip, right? You don't have your big guns. You have some guys playing out of the batting order, if you will, in the slots, and you got to find ways to stay in things. And you're facing a team in Calgary tonight that's 9-1. That's 1-9 straight. You got a hot Abbotsford team on the weekend as well too. And then we got San Diego to wrap it up next week on a 5-game trip. So I think it's been an okay start to the season. I don't think it's been blistering, certainly offensively. I think there's more offense than what's there. A guy like Savoy, being able to have some line mates back with Griffith and Kajula, getting some guys back healthy would be key in the next couple of weeks. But I think this is a defensive first minded club. Both goaltenders have been good. They've been 9-2-0 here over the first 4 starts. Ollie Rodriguez looked good. He had 45 saves the other night, and he'll get the start tonight. And that's the backbone of this team here moving forward, because as you mentioned, there's 2 lines right now for this team that you can really look at and go, okay, there's 6 guys that can find the back of the net on a consistent basis. And you have to, be able to be comfortable winning, 2-1, 3-2 style of games, because that's what's right there in front of you right now.
Ryan Holt joined us, the voice of the Bakersfield Condors. They are in Calgary tonight. Drake Kajula was reassigned. They've signed Braden Tracy to a 25-game PTO as they are banged up significantly. If you missed it right off the top, Yarventi re-aggravated an injury, and he will be out hopefully short term. I don't know yet. I'm assuming he didn't make the trip.
He did make the trip.
Okay.
I think he's heading to Edmonton to get
okay.
further evaluation as well too. So so I think just a situation we'll wait and see and see what happens.
Now, how's Petrov played?
He's been good since he got back into the lineup. He had a goal the other night, and that's hopefully good for his confidence. He's putting the work in and getting himself, reacclimated. And listen, he's an important piece here moving forward for this team. He did get scratched the one night in Tucson, with Cameron Wright. Cameron Wright came back in and scored a goal as well, too. So, this is still a young kid trying to find his way, in the pro hockey ranks.
Yep.
He's had a great attitude. He's come to the rink. He's put the work in, and hopefully, he can start getting, I think, some of it was conditioning from his injury late last year and, kind of starting behind the 8 ball. And, as you know, when you start behind the 8 ball, especially in the AHL with the amount of travel, the amount of games, the back and forth style of, play in the back-to-backs, it's tough to get caught back up. So hopefully he can get caught back up. But he definitely looked better the other night, scored a big goal for us, and hopefully can keep it going.
All right. Always good to catch up with you, man. Thanks for the update. Hopefully no more injuries, and hopefully our venti is nothing too serious. And we will chat with you again soon.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Take care.
There you go. That's Ryan Holt. So Kajula going to Calgary, which means they could easily recall him right after the game if they wanted. And, Yarventi banged up. That's brutal news for him. He got injured in January, and then his knee had healed, or his injury healed. And then as he was rehabbing, then he ended up aggravating the other leg, basically because he was compensating too much on that leg. And then that led to him. That's why he was out. He was rehabbing that. Then he comes back, plays 2 games, played really well. All the reviews were how great he played. And now he's re-aggravated something. So I don't know if it's the initial one, if it was the second one. That's, that's unlucky. There's, you just got to figure out a way to get healthy. Best ability is dependability, baby. And players want to play. So we'll see the Condors. They got a tough test tonight. They're a beaten down team as far as injuries go. And that doesn't impact your skill. Like one injury is fine. You get to 3, 4, 5, or 6. Well, that's a big difference. And that's kind of where they're at with their forward group right now. And then they're in Calgary against the Wranglers, who are 9-1 so far early on in the American League season. Now, when we come back, we'll talk a little Oilers losing to the Devils. Had a very optional skate today. I think there's 7 guys on the ice. They will have a full morning skate tomorrow. Get set to take on the Vegas Golden Knights, who are winless on the road, but undefeated at home. So Oilers are hoping to continue that trend tomorrow. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. 50 mil up for grabs. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca for Lotto Max.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. When it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
As the Grand Slam of Curling takes place at the Silent Ice Center, Curling Alberta's 50-50 will be supporting grassroots curling in Beaumont. Monies raised will go towards supporting junior curling in Beaumont. So get your 50-50 tickets today at curlbeaumont.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Worried about your debt but don't know how to deal with it? My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day, and I understand how stressful your situation can be. During a free consultation, I can show you how to lower your payment and become debt-free. I can offer you immediate relief from that overwhelming stress. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
In a world where every day is a battle against time, elements, and gravity, one ally has stood strong for over 50 years: Titan Supply. In the harshest conditions, against relentless deadlines and overwhelming tasks, they equip you and help keep you working safely. Lifting, digging, or hauling, gear up for the everyday battle with Titan Supply. Still standing strong in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Or online at titansupply.ca.
Lift, dig, haul.
.245. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Also, sports1440.ca. And, of course, on the app if you're listening. Busy night in the National Hockey League. Oilers have it off, of course, but they are playing tomorrow. But Tuesday, Thursdays, Saturdays, the busy days, most of the time in the National Hockey League. And you look tonight, few games that might interest you a little bit. There's 11 games on the docket tonight. Game to watch. The Minnesota Wild are on fire. Kaprizov, he's almost guaranteed 2 points every game right now early on, so that's something to watch for. You also have the Bruins taking on the Austin Matthews Toronto Maple Leafs. No Braden Point tonight for the Tampa Bay Lightning. No Broberg for the St. Louis Blues. They're starting to see some injuries all around. Like no one more banged up maybe than the Islanders. Oh, God, they are banged up and they can't score to save their life. And they've lost a lot of guys to injury. And what about the Jets? They can improve to 12-1 tonight at home against Utah. God, they're off to a great start. Let's get in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. And hey, if you want a great start, anything that you need, whether it's commercial, solar, residential solar, electrical preventative maintenance, they do it all. Check it out, actionelectrical.ca. net as Derek Van Diest from NHL.com covers the Jets, the Oilers, the Canucks, and the Flames. And DVD last night, the Oilers, kind of a movie we've seen before, unable to score, and their special teams stink. Pretty much the shortest and most accurate synopsis of their game last night.
Yeah, pretty much. They can't kill a penalty and they can't score in the power play. They had a lot of good looks. They had a ton of good looks, 31 shots last night. And I talked to Jeff Skinner about that this morning. I went down there. There was only, yeah, you're right. There was only about 6 or 7 guys on the ice today, and the rest of them took a day off. But I said, hey, listen, is it a matter of, it's just a matter of time before you guys start putting this in, or do you got to bear down? You got to bear down when you get those opportunities. And he said it was a little bit of both. He said, we think that, you keep getting the chances. Is when you're not getting the chances, that's when you start to get concerned. You start to worry when you're not generating opportunities. And he says, we're generating a lot of opportunities, just not making the most of them. And part of that is you do have to bear down. You do have to get down and make the most of those opportunities. You can't just say, oh, well, we got beat by a hot goalie again. Like, how many times the Oilers going to get goalie here in the last couple of years? They have to make the most out of those opportunities. 31 shots. They had a lot of good looks, and then you look at the ones that just missed the net or just went wide or things like that, or how many times they hit the goaltender in the crest. And, goal scoring is not easy. It's obviously not easy. If it was, everyone would do it. But I do think when you get in those opportunities, if you let a team hang around like you did last night, then eventually you're going to get burnt, and especially if you're really struggling to kill a penalty. And this is a team that's supposed to have a lot of firepower this year, supposed to have a lot of guys that can finish, and they're just not getting it done right now. So I think it's a matter of, they got to start bearing down on those opportunities and taking those shots and doing what they can with them. But you can't keep out shooting teams every night and not come away with wins, and we've seen that a lot this season with the Edmonton Oilers.
It's not a lack of effort that's their issue right now, and it's really not even a lack of overall team defense. It wasn't like New Jersey had the puck a lot more. It wasn't like New Jersey was hemming them in the zone. Now, if there's one thing, the Oilers, there was a few times where Jake Allen had to make a second save, but they still don't get a ton of like second or third opportunities, right? And I think that's a concern. I know Henrique went upstairs early and hit the crossbar, but they're still trying to be hammering home a lot of pucks on the ice, and that's just not how you score in today's NHL. I get that it's hard to raise the puck, but sometimes it's like, dude, just get it off the ice.
Yeah, how many times have you seen that? Like, guys just can't just lift it over a guy's pad. Like, it's there, it's open. But I see the Oilers are passing up a lot of shots too. I think there's a couple of good opportunities yesterday where they decided to get to that one extra pass, and that one extra pass doesn't work. They're giving up a lot of shots. They're giving up a lot of shooting opportunities. But they are generating chances. But yeah, I think you're right. They just got to be tougher in front of the net. Second and third opportunities are earned. Like, you got to go get that puck. You got to go fight through sticks. You got to fight through checks. You look at the Podolsk, the miss. Who was that? The wide open net. Podkolzin did. Yeah, Podkolzin missed the wide open net. That's just a matter of, the guy gets a stick on you. You just got to out battle him in front of the net. You got to win that battle. And I think right now the Oilers aren't winning a lot of those battles. They're not winning those second and third opportunities because it's tough to get rebounds in the league. That's the whole point, is they're trying to clear and you're trying to get to them. So if you're not getting second and third opportunities, then it's just a matter, you got to work harder. You got to dig a little deeper and get tougher in front of the net.
Derek Van Diest joins DVD. What about the fact that right now, man, it's just a magnet for goals against? Darnell Nurse is on the ice. They're getting scored on way too much.
Yeah, they are. I look back, to me, Darnell Nurse is really good when he's skating well and he's kind of playing his game and not trying to do everybody else's job. And I think sometimes he overcompensates and he tries to help out his partner, and he ends up getting burnt on his own accord. It's like playing zone defense in football. Stay in your zone, because the minute you go out of your zone to go and help another guy, you're going to get burnt and the guy's going to get you. So I think that's the situation there. And we saw it earlier in his career where we felt he had to overcompensate for whoever he was playing with. And I think he's doing a little bit of that now. He's doing a little bit of too much running around. Just focus on your guy. Just focus on your man and trust the people around you that they're going to do their jobs too. Because the minute you start chasing or you start going somewhere else, or you're saying, oh, he's going to need help, you're leaving your responsibilities. And And I think if everyone just worries about their responsibilities, they're going to be fine. But I see that a lot of running around, especially on the PK, and they get scored on early too, like 30 seconds in, a minute in, they're losing the draws and they get running around and no one's really knows what they're doing out there. Like the PK is a mess. They got to figure that thing out. But it starts by winning the draw. If you win the draw, throw the puck down the zone, that's 40 seconds you killed off the PK. You're halfway there almost. So that's where it starts to me, is winning those draws. But they got to fix that. And the power play is not what it was. You know, I don't know if you can sustain a power play at 33% for the last 3 years. They got, teams are going to try and figure it out. They're going to try and defend it. So I think it's up to the Oilers now to kind of find that next level. But yeah, that PK has got to be a lot better. You can't go into a situation where you take a penalty and it's going to end up in the back of your net. And I think that's something that they have to work on for sure.
Well, to me, there's just not enough urgency on their power play right now. And that, they're not moving it quick enough at all. They're not moving quick enough. Their power play is best when there's a lot of motion, and they've been standing still way too much. And it's like they're settled. The other teams is like, okay, we'll let you guys stand still, and then we pressure, and boom, nothing happens. And hey, I get that. What happened in the past is the past now. They can't keep living off. Well, you know what? I get they were good and they were unbelievable, but they're not good now. And they can't keep just saying, well, you know what? We were good in the past, so we'll automatically be good again. It's not how it works.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think remember we talked to, Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl about that power play last year. And we'd ask him, what's the best thing you like about that power play? And they said that we go and retrieve pucks. And I know Connor McDavid said that on more than one occasions that he thinks that his team was really good at retrieving pucks and keeping the pucks in the zone and getting third and fourth opportunities. And I don't see them doing that right now. Now they're not retrieving those pucks. They're not winning those battles in the corner. And teams are clearing the puck on them a lot. And I think that was the one thing that both of those guys said they were most proud of on the power play. It's about hard work and getting in on those two-on-one opportunities in the corner and coming out with a puck. And that's what they were doing. And they're not doing that this year. Teams are winning those battles and sending those pucks down the ice.
They got Vegas tomorrow, DVD. The Golden Knights are unreal at home, 8-0, and haven't won a road game yet this year, 0-3-1. It's quite the Jekyll and Hyde. And the Oilers, the good news for them last year, they were in a massive deep hole against Vegas. They were 15 points behind them, I think, at one point, maybe even 20. And they were able to get close, but never close enough to catch Vancouver. You beat Vegas, and even though Edmonton's not off to a great start, you're well within striking distance still, right? Because home ice advantage, I think, for at least the first two rounds has to be a must for the Oilers this year.
Yeah, they're at 500 right now, and I think once you're at that 500 mark, you can start working from there. You get a 3, 4, 5 game win streak, and you kind of get some separation of that 500 mark. You can't let these teams get away from you, and I think not everyone's off to a great start outside of the Winnipeg Jets and some teams like that. But I think in the division right there, the division is really close. It's a little closer than I think everyone expected to. I think everyone thought that the Oilers would run away with it. But, I don't know what it is with Vegas on the road. Whatever they're doing on the road is not working. And at home, Vegas plays well at home. They play well in that building. They like their fans. Building's sold out every night. It's a great place to watch hockey. It's a total Jekyll and Hyde. But I do think that it's important for the Oilers to kind of build off this, not drop below 500, not just kind of build up on that record. Last year they felt so they had to work so hard just to get back up to 500 at 2-9-1, I think, when they bottomed out last year or something like that. So there were 7 games under. They had to work to get there. But I think right now, you're starting to see signs of the team. They're playing a lot. I think they're playing better than they were at the beginning of the year. You're starting to see signs, and it's just a matter of just building on the good things, building on the little things, and we'll see what kind of effort they come up with tomorrow night. I think this team is starting to kind of feel its way through. I think there's been some changes, and then you guys are starting to play a little better now. Like I said, talked to Jeff Skinner today. He's feeling a bit more comfortable now. So I think it takes some time, but they're right there, and they just got to put a win streak together, and I think they'll be okay.
Quickly, the Jets 11-1. They take on Utah tonight. They're the favorite in that game, no question. Are you a believer in the Jets?
I always have been. I always liked this team. I had a nice long chat with Kevin Cheveldayoff at the at the Helinka tournament this summer. We talked about his team or looking at his roster, and I've said this a lot about the Jets. I don't think there's a big drop-off between the first line and the second line, third line, fourth line. I think they have probably the most evenly balanced group, and right now they're all firing. They're all chipping in. Winnipeg scoring a ton of goals. Their power play has been lights out. They're just getting everything going right now, and so I think that's a big thing for the Jets. But I like their back end. They're getting goaltending. Obviously, they have the best goalie in the world, and Eric Comrie's playing really well as well when he comes in. So they have everything there, and they're rolling. And then obviously the question with Winnipeg is always comes at playoff time. Last year, very disappointing playoff for them. Out in 5 was really quick, and they're out. But I think they're a more mature team. I think they're a well-structured team. I think they're a well-balanced team. And they're a tough team to match up against because they do roll those 4 lines, and they keep coming at you. And I think it's tough to kind of breathe when you're getting swarmed like that by 4 lines. So I've always liked the Jets. I've always liked their makeup. I think Kevin Cheveldayoff does an unbelievable job in Winnipeg there, moving pieces and getting pieces back. And I think they're a pretty tight-knit group there, all wanting to stay in Winnipeg. And it starts with Scheifele and Hallebuck, and then it kind of goes from there. And I think they're a very proud group there. And I think kudos. I didn't think they'd be out to the start they are, but I did think that they would challenge for that Central Division title.
DVD, always good to catch up with you, my man. Have yourself a good one. Thanks for switching up today, and we will chat with you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. See you at the rink tomorrow.
Thanks for having me. You betcha. Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. And the Oilers taking on Vegas tomorrow. Hey, guys, Ekholm's been on for 20 goals against, Nurse 22. What am I missing? Well, you can miss number one. Yes. Goals against similar, 10-8 at 5-on-5, and they've been on for equal amount of goals in the penalty kill. Penalty kill's terrible. The difference is who's made more direct errors that have led to goals against. Because being on the ice is one thing that I look for direct errors. And then number two, are you at least adding something at the other end of the ice to negate the goals against? Ekholm is, Nurse isn't. I don't think you can accurately compare Nurse to Ekholm's play this season. I've never been a Nurse hater, but you got to admit and call it out when a guy's not. He can play better. Full stop. He can play better. Don't try to deflect away to others. Focus on the point. He can play better. He needs to play better. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire, where stop in right now. You can make a seasonal tire change hassle-free by offering convenient tire storage services. When you switch to your winter tires, they'll store your summer tires. Go to fountaintire.com. Find the location nearest you.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, trade deadline day in the NFL, and there are plenty of moves. The Washington Commanders have solidified their secondary, trading for New Orleans Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. The Steelers landed Jets wide receiver Mike Williams in exchange for a 2025 fifth-round pick and acquired Packers pass rusher Preston Smith for a 2025 seventh-round pick. The Los Angeles Rams are trading cornerback Tre'Davious White to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Detroit Lions have added a pass rusher, acquiring veteran defensive end Darius Smith in a deal with the Cleveland Browns. NHL news, Braden Point will be out for the Lightning tonight against the Blues, and Austin Matthews will be out for the Leafs against the Bruins. One final piece of news in the sporting world is in the NBA. The league has suspended Philadelphia 76ers Joel Embiid for 3 games for an altercation where he shoved a columnist post-game in the locker room. 11 games in the NHL today. It all gets going with 4 games at 5 p.m. Ottawa and Buffalo, Boston and Toronto, Calgary and Montreal, and Philly in Carolina. 12 games today in the NBA. 2 games to kick off the action at 5. Detroit and Charlotte, Orlando in Indiana, and Toronto in action in the late game out at Sacramento, an 8 p.m. tip for that one. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Page just
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screen. scenes, spanning Western
The update
Canada's
said that I
largest venue
inserted what's
space.
there.
Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Are you watching the interest rates these days? Of course you are. Paying less interest leaves money in your pocket. That's why St. Albert Dodge is happy to tell you that right now they have 0% financing on virtually all new 2024 models. Hundreds to choose from: Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer, Dodge Durango, and Hornet, Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all with 0% financing. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. Two great names in work and cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has work and cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
Remaining cyber safe is critical. Check in with your loved ones. Chat to your kids about online safety. Warn elders about scams. Let's ensure everyone's secure in this interconnected world. Learn more at getcybersafe.gc.ca. Remember, being informed is the first line of defense.
Welcome back. Just after 3 o'clock, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. We're going to look into that Joel Embiid situation on pushing the reporter. Well, I'd like to know more about that story. So 3-game suspension. That Stern doesn't take it to the NBA. When you look at how the NBA looks at marketing their league compared to the NHL, it's night and day. It's not even close. Like in the NBA, access is mandatory. It's encouraged, and it's complete. They have way fewer players. You got the same guys talking every day or every second day. Like LeBron James, biggest star in the game, talking all the time. Pre-game, post-game, all the time. And the NBA, because guess what? Star-driven league. That's what they want. And you look at just their overall view to getting information out to their fans is infinitely different than the NHL. It's not even close. Not even close. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, Alberta's only online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca as we welcome in former NHLer, first-round draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens, 2-time author, stars in Shoresy and some other TV shows and a few cameos in movies and more. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
I'm not bad. How are you doing?
Good. I might have to put professional puck dropper on your resume now. And look at the goggles, eh? Look at you, looking all very intellectual today on the show. Ooh, I
had astigmatism I didn't know about.
Haircut and everything. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I went. So my buddy's wife is an optometrist. I was sitting with them a few weeks ago and said, I explained to her because I can, at the actual eye test, I always got 20/20 or 20/15, like good vision. But I was explaining, I said, but sometimes there's a bit of a blur. Sometimes it causes a headache. And she said, I think he, through her, or the other way around, explained that it was astigmatism. So then I went in to see her and she did the tests. And sure enough, I've got a a pretty noticeable stigmatism, and I feel much better with these on.
So now you can see.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess one eye was making up for the other, and I could see, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
then
good
further
race.
away, a lot easier than closer. But I always thought it was just like, maybe there's a reading glasses element to it or something at some point. Maybe that's coming. But I guess it was astigmatism the whole time, which is a little bit different than just having blurry vision. So I'm not surprised. I didn't really see it coming, but I'm surprised it took this long.
You now when you look in the mirror, do you look better or worse?
The mirror is actually a perfect distance from that. Doesn't change at all.
Okay.
It's the far away stuff and the near stuff was more, but that anything within that range, like playing hockey, I didn't really notice it.
Okay.
Right. So there are most things. Reading, I guess I was just like holding things out here.
Oh God.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
well,
I really wasn't. But I mean, since I've been like 20, so it wasn't. It's not like now. I did certainly lately notice more changes, so maybe that's the age part. I don't know, because in the bottom of the glasses, they're like reading glasses kind of thing. But these things, and also I've mentioned on here about the bright, right? So it's not always just bright lights. It's the sunlight and the UV stuff. And then I'll come inside and I'll be on something like this, and then I need to wear my shades. But these, if I'm out in the UV light, they sense it and they turn into shades.
Oh, nice.
I had them on today, and a big thing is light. And I don't know if that comes from a concussion earlier in my life or not. That was the biggest symptom was light affecting my eyes. But I seem to remember that going back to like being 7 or 8 years old. I always had a problem with migraine headaches, and now I realize this is at least probably not responsible for all of it, but some of it.
All right. When you have those glasses on, have you noticed how better, well, it's not better, but definitely how worse the Oilers special teams is? Because my goodness, 60% on the penalty kill, 14% on the power play. They're 74% combined. 74. Heck, if you were 74 in the penalty kill, you'd think that was terrible. Never mind combined. Like their special teams right now is putrid, and it's costing them games.
Yeah, and I other than I only saw the highlights on Sunday. I didn't see the full game, but anyway, I didn't need to see it. I don't know. And the power play they had against the Devils looked like it doesn't not even like it looks anemic. Like it's not even they're around the net, and at some point, it's going to give, which is mystifying. Given how it's not just. Someone's asking me on my podcast about the power play is one thing, but the penalty kill last year, didn't it lead the NHL in the playoffs? It was like,
oh God, it was one of the best ever. Yeah, it was like over 90%.
So you've got a power play and a penalty kill within a calendar year that were historically good, great, if not the best. And then just a few months later, both are near the bottom after enough games now that, I think the excuse is out of the way that, it's only a couple games in. I don't know. We're a dozen. We're more than half a football season in right now, and it doesn't seem to be improving. McDavid or no McDavid.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the penalty kill, they've taken off their defense. Desharnais, who is a really good penalty killer, Ceci. Those are their two top right pair defensemen on the penalty kill, one on each unit, and they're both gone. And I said it the moment the trade happened. I told people, and I said, there's going to be a lot of people who are all Cody Ceci's terrible, who are going to be like, oh, geez, maybe he wasn't that bad. Nearly as bad as I thought. Yeah, you know what? Every now and then he'd miss some plays here or there. That's fine. But Cody Ceci was pretty damn consistent in what you wanted. And I think they miss his just overall consistency. He's never flashy by any stretch of the imagination. And Desharnais was a really good penalty killer. And I think they definitely missed those two. There's no question. For me, the forwards up front, you know what? Janmark, Brown, Nugent, Hopkins, Henrique, they were all here last year. I know Fogle and McLeod were their fifth and sixth guys, but their top four guys are here. They kind of had groups and they just went out in duos, and that's what they were doing. And so right now it's out of sync. That's obvious. Their goaltending can be better too, no question. But how they're attacking is not nearly as in sync on their penalty kills specifically. And to me, it's pretty noticeable. There's lots of big gaps. Henrique, to his credit, right after the game said, man, I took a wrong turn on that penalty. Instead of if he would have turned to the inside, instead of turning to the outside, he thinks then maybe he can he can get in the lane or stop Brad from that shot. So, it's small little details. And when things aren't going well, Terry, every time you make a mistake, it seems to end up in the back of your net. Well, when you're going well, you make a mistake and it doesn't end up in your back of your net.
Yeah. And, for some reason, a team so accomplished, really, the team is littered with players that went to the game 7 or won a World Junior or led a team in scoring, or full of players that have done that. And for some reason, they look tentative at times. I'm not talking about just like throwing their body around, just like with their decisions and the way if I'm on that power play, I'm thinking, we were number 1 last year. We got to the Stanley Cup final and nearly won it largely due to this. I have confidence, but even if there's a few bad games, but it doesn't seem to me like they're playing with confidence. And there's another, you can look at certain trends. How many penalties are they drawing?
Not many at all, man.
So that's usually a trend that that has nothing to do with the actual penalty kill when you're on it, but it's just that it's either it's tentative, or you can't tell me that if you're giving your all out that you're going to be close to the bottom drawing penalties. I don't care what. I know some people dive and there's exceptions, and it's a really hard thing to weigh down, just like plus minus. But I don't know, if you're a hardworking team, I would think in most leagues that play with the same rules that you're going to. It's going to show in other parts of your game. If you're out there and you're not drawing any penalties, it doesn't mean you're not working hard every time. But usually, if it's a Venn diagram, there's a huge gray area there where it's like, I'm not moving my feet. That's the reason I'm not drawing penalties. Now, is it always lack of hard work? I don't think so. Is it lack of confidence? I guess at the moment, there's a lot of things you can attribute it to, but if you're not drawing penalties, first of all, and like I said, you're near the bottom, then it's usually noticing that trend, it leads to other ones that are similar. And I know that I don't even know where their shot blocking is, but Desharnais and Ceci seem to me to either have the angle, there was no point to even shooting, or they'd block the shot. Right now, you don't have that, so I didn't think it'd be as noticeable as it is. But you did. Credit to you. I remember you saying it last year more than once. Now, I wasn't in a CC hater at all. I wasn't. And I think a lot of people weren't, but online there was definitely a lot of buzz about that. And it can often be overblown online. And I think now we're seeing that it probably was.
Yeah. I look at the Oilers penalty kill, and you know what? It's not an easy fix. It's going to take some time, clearly. I think confidence plays a factor, too. I know when you're rolling TR, like on a power play, you can't wait to get over the boards. And on a penalty kill, when it's rolling, you're just like, yeah, whatever, we'll kill it off. And you jump over the boards and you got boatloads of confidence. And I clearly they don't have that. I think they're hesitant at times. The other thing is, like last night, like the funny thing is the Oilers, I think their 5-on-5 play for the most part this year has been really good. They just can't finish. But like they outshot New Jersey 2-1. New Jersey's a really good puck possession team. And the Oilers outshot them 31-16. They outchanced them significant amounts. And Jake Allen made a few good saves. I thought they made him look good on some others and then overpassed on a few. But, Edmonton last night again is another case where they only scored 0 goals, but it wasn't due to the goalie standing on his head. I think they're missing too many quality chances. And for whatever reason, lots of goals today are scored in the upper half of the net. And a lot of their shots aren't in the upper half of the net.
And no, you're right. I didn't know most goals were scored up there. I really didn't. But another thing, like they're thinking a lot. Of course, they're thinking a lot. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But just hear me out here. They're overthinking sometimes. Did you see the play that Hyman made on the Skinner goal? How it was a battle for the puck, and he kind of got it. He shielded his body. He turned it around. Great puck protection, and gave it on. And Skinner kind of battled it into the net. Like,
yeah,
Hyman didn't have real time to think there, right? He just went it. And if he's got it on a 2-on-1, it's almost like he's not Zach Hyman. Like he's thinking outside of what I got to do. I'm squeezing my. I know he's got a couple now, but that's just an example. When I saw that play, I'm like, that is why the Oilers made the final last year, right there. Like he just went with it, and it was hard work, and someone following up the play with good mitts, and it's a goal, a bit of chaos. like I said, you don't have to be out there running people. You don't have to be out there fighting people. At times when the situation calls for it, but that kind of hockey, right? You're not you're overthinking it. You're just going out and you're playing, and your number one priority is to win puck battles, right? That's what's on my mind. Now, once you win that battle, now the creativity will come in rather than proactively trying to just be creative. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that by no means am I knocking Zach Hyman, because I think he's one of the best at doing that. And I think more than anything, he's out thinking it. I don't usually watch an Oilers game and say, you know what, this guy got to give more. I don't think that. I just think sometimes, and I've been there, whatever league, whatever place, I know what it's like to be in a slump. And sometimes, you want to work hard. You just think yourself into a mess, basically. And I think some of that's going on.
About the fact the Oilers had 5 hits in an NHL game. They had 3 or 4 the other game. I understand that they don't have a bunch of physical, like natural hitting players. I get it. But 5 hits in a game, TR?
Total embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was last week or the week before. Something like this happened. And I didn't really point it out. I'm sure other people have pointed it out, especially in that market. But yeah, I don't understand that. And you can tell me whatever. You can say this guy, that guy. They don't do that. It's not part of their game. Hogwash. Finish the hit. If someone's next to you, there's a few times, I can't think of who it was, or I tell you, but a couple, and I've said this, if their D has it, say, right, and just has it in the zone, and he's next to the boards and flips it out to center, and you're standing next, just do this. That's all you have to do. You're not running. You're not hurting him. You're doing this. You're just finishing the hit. So next time, maybe he knows that, I can't just, it's not going to be a walk in the park back here. That might be so-and-so who only has 4 penalty minutes, but at least I'm going to get hit like friction. It could be a pylon. If it's in the way, I can't go there. It's just like, to me, that's the most basic part of hockey. I would tell a 12-year-old, go out and just work your hardest, whether there's hitting or not. Block every shot. Poke every puck, go hard in the corner. Now there's hitting, finish every hit. Don't have to be dirty at all. Don't have to one bit. It's nice to have a few guys on a team that are, but if you're not, but just finish the hit. Give me an honest effort at the end of the game, right? I don't expect so-and-so who's not a hitter to go out and lead the league in hits. I also don't expect Matthew Olivier or Oliver, what his name is, to get 50 goals, but he goes out and finishes every hit. And I think you can notice that. And it can really, really carry a team's momentum. And a lot of the time you get these players like, and again, Oliver, Olivier, whatever his name is on Columbus, no disrespect to him whatsoever. But I don't think that he should be carrying an NHL game, but he often does. You saw it happen the other night because he's just creating momentum for his players to open up the ice a little bit. And, everybody has that tool. Everybody can skate and do this. Right. So for me, there's no excuse. You don't have to have a lot, but 5 in a game is embarrassing in Pee-wee, let alone any level of professional hockey.
Yeah, no, it's I look at 5 hits in the game and people say, well, it's hard to hit when you have the puck all the time. The Oilers didn't have the puck that much. Like, did you know in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers have the fewest hits in the entire league, averaging 13 a game. And you know what? Hey, the Winnipeg Jets, they have the puck a lot. They're averaging 19, 6 more. So I get the theory, but it's not like the Oilers are having the puck double the amount of time as opposing teams. So
sometimes if you need momentum, just sort of cut you off. Like for me, if our team needed momentum, I could have the puck. I'm going to flip it into the corner, slow dump, and I'm going to hit the guy. You know what I mean? I don't even mean maim him or run him. I really don't. But I mean that would be a tactic. If 1-0, 2-0. My God, we're not okay. Here, let's go some short dumps. Let's finish our hits and see what happens. Hopefully, we hold the puck in. Hopefully, but if not, let's get 6 or 7 hits here in the next 10 minutes, boys. Right? I mean, that's basic hockey, and I can tell you lots of guys that played like that weren't killers. Saku Koivu's one of them. I can speak from my own experience. So you're going to expect me to say it about Shane Corson or Darcy Tucker. Vincent Damphousse would do that. There's another guy. I don't know if I ever saw him drop his gloves. He had 156 minutes one year, though. He carved you. But there's an example. A really skilled player that wasn't looked at for that. 100% he'd finish, not every single hit, but a lot more than the Oilers are doing lately.
Yeah. So they got to, you know what? There's different ways to impact games. And you know what? That's an area where, hey, is a lack of hitting the only reason they're not scoring? I can't say for certain that it is, but it might get you in the game more. It might. And clearly, you know what? I don't know if a few more hits will lead to more goals. I have no idea. But all I know is not scoring and not hitting isn't a great combination.
And it gets the other team, like it's one thing, it gives you momentum, but it also gets the other team off their game a bit. I mean, I love games that I know I'm not going to get hit. Give that to me every day, baby. You know what I mean? It's just great as a player. I'm not going to get a hit tonight. Perfect. Nothing to worry about. Let's go.
Yeah. 3:22, quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little Colorado Avalanche. Max Jones is on waivers. The Avs desperately need forwards due to injuries. Will they claim him from the Boston Bruins? We'll find out and more when we return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League would like to congratulate its athletes for competing in the BCHL Showcase in Chilliwack.
Liam Pugh left circle hold, shoots, scores!
The 18U division put on a show in front of BCHL, NCAA, and NHL scouts, and proudly represented the league as they continue to develop as players and people. Thanks to the groundbreaking Universal Affiliation Agreement, unsigned JPHL players can suit up for multiple BCHL teams in the same season. Next up is the JPHL's Winter Championships in December.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
I couldn't ignore it. Everyone kept saying, "You look so tired."
Are you getting enough sleep, dear?
Hon, you look like you need some rest.
But I'm not tired. I guess I just look that way.
But you don't have to. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I provide skin-refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance. Don't worry, we won't drastically change how you look, but we will help you look as energetic as you feel. Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GM.
Don't talk so loud. Now you don't seem so proud about having to be scrounging. You're next to me. How does it feel?
3:25. Welcome back. Gregor, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440. The con man, if you're just joining us, became a father and is having a week off enjoying his newborn son, young Benjamin. So congrats to the con man. He will be back next week. So big news for him.
Connor.
Exciting. Yes. So yeah.
I didn't even know he was expecting. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, it kept it pretty quiet. We did talk about it a few times on the show, but the con man, we talked about names a little bit. So young Benjamin came into the world last Friday. So they've had 5 days of young parenting bliss. Maybe not a ton of sleep, but hey, anybody who's being a parent, you remember those first few times just holding your newborn son or your newborn daughter. It's hard to describe that feeling until you've had it. You probably can't do it justice, and it's a great moment. So hopefully they're having a great time. Let's go around the NHL now. Brought to you by McDonald's. And did you know Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays, it's the Fan Day deals at McDonald's. Only through the app though. Download the McDonald's app and you can get $4 Big Macs, McChicken, or filet of fish. Only at McDonald's. Pretty good deal on the Big Macs. As hey, speaking of Big Mac, I don't know if that's what they call them or not, but I could see it when you talk about the Colorado Avalanche because their big M's, Mikko, McKinnon, and Makar have been leading the way for them. As Ryan Boulding joins us, talk a little Avalanche. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Hey, great. Colorado's obviously been banged up, but it looks like they might be getting some help. Can you update us on Nichushkin? And I think it's 10 days until he can be officially reinstated. Is that what everybody's expecting? And how long after that do you think he'll be in the lineup?
Yeah, it looks like he was cleared to practice with the team yesterday, and he did so. He was out again at optional morning skate this morning. And it got a little weird in our press conference with Jared Bednar yesterday, but I believe the expectation is he will be cleared to play by the 15th and will be in the lineup that night as well. So I think the plan is get him practicing, get him working as hard as he can, get him ready to go so they can just insert him into the lineup. This is a team that is really missing him right now.
Oh, without question, it's huge. Now, Max Jones went on waivers today. They still got lots of injuries. I think there's any chance they would claim him being so short of forwards?
I think it's a possibility right now that the Avalanche are just in this period of injuries where guys are close but not quite there. They're getting Arturi Lehkonen back tonight. That actually will complete the top line. So the top line will be back. And then Jonathan Drouin is supposed to be close. He's got an upper body injury. He hasn't shed his red non-contact sweater. But Jared Bednar said this morning he's getting closer. We don't really know what that means in terms of a timeline. Maybe in the next week or so would be my best guess there. So the Avalanche, by the 15th, will have Nichushkin back. They at least have their two top lines full. and then they can kind of have that trickle-down effect of guys moving back to their natural positions in the lineup.
You look at how they've been able to kind of stem the tide through all of this, because it's been a significant amount of injuries. You know, if you look at how many Ross Colton was playing unreal. He goes down. Duran goes down. Lekkonen's down. Nichushkin wasn't available. Landeskog. I guess let's start there. What's the latest on Landeskog? Do you think he's ever going to play this year?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. You know, in the offseason, Jared Badnar said he thought he could be ready by the beginning of the season, and we haven't seen him on the ice in a while. Yesterday, we asked for an update, and he said that Gabe had been taking some time off the ice, but that he was doing well in the gym, and he's still working through his steps. So there's no timeline. I don't think there's a roadmap for a recovery from this type of injury. You know, he was about 5 weeks behind, Lamar Ball or Lonzo Ball, who was playing for the Bulls, who had the same surgery.
Okay.
So I think the expectation was he could be about a month or so behind in that kind of return, but not seeing him on the ice lately, not seeing him, practicing in any capacity around the team has been a little curious. So I think there's still just a wait and see. He had said at the end of last season he wants to be back this season. Whether that's game 1 or game 82 remains to be seen. So there's not really any movement, any update there on what his status is.
Ryan, any big surprises so far, positive ones from either young guys or new faces on the team?
Yeah, I think just, a couple of guys have come up and made good impressions. Nikita Prishapov, he's only played one game. He played 13 minutes, 30 seconds the other night. I thought he was pretty impressive in that game. This is a later round draft pick for the Avalanche. It's a guy who I think they thought they'd maybe have a little longer timeline on for him. He was taken in the 7th round of the 2024 draft. So to see him come up, to see him play, to see him have some success in that regard and not look lost and overwhelmed, I think, that's a win for this team. We mentioned Ross Colton. I mean, Colton's still leading the team in goals. He's been out now for a little while. Unfortunately, broke his foot blocking a shot. But super impressive in his capacity to slot up into the top line, to move into that power play 1 unit and find success. That's been very impressive. And then Casey Middlestad, I think all eyes are kind of been on him to see what's a full season in the Avalanche organization look like for him. And he's been very good so far. He's got 14 points in 12 games. This team has struggled defensively, has allowed a lot of goals, has allowed a lot of empty net goals against. So that can kind of hurt the quick look numbers, but he's the guy that's been very impressive too, I think. And that was to be expected for sure. But, it's good to see that maybe that second line center position has finally found a permanent fixture there.
I go to a lot of Halifax Moosehead games and followed Jonathan Drouin the whole way in Montreal. I guess most of his time there was a bit of a disappointment, to say the least, but he's found a resurgence in Colorado. Do you have any insight as to why?
Yeah, I think the ability to come into a team where he's not expected to be one of the stars was maybe a good reset for his mental health and his approach to the game. There was an element of having lost the passion for the game with him and some of the things he struggled through. And so his ability to come in the team and be, kind of a companion to the top guys, a companion to Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen, but not necessarily expected to be the guy, kind of helped rejuvenate him. And, I think as intense as Nathan McKinnon can be and competitive and obviously as successful as he is on the ice, he is a person who is always working to improve, and he's always working with people to improve. We've seen a lot of him and Casey Middlestat working on the ice together on, optional practice days, staying after practice ends to work on tiny things. And there was a lot of that with Drouin as well. And you can really see what we all knew he was capable of, but maybe had gone away, since probably 2018-19. And he kind of soared back and had a lot of success and was playing loose, fast Avalanche style hockey.
Talking Colorado Avalanche with Ryan Boulding from NHL.com in Colorado. And, the Nichushkin factor is, there's been lots of people wondering, like, how is he going to be received because of what's happened, in playoff time multiple times. Ryan, do you know anything about kind of, the internal, is he on his last guaranteed leg here from them? I know Nathan McKinnon, somebody who demands a lot of accountability from his teammates. Can you give us some insight kind of on how they're looking at it? Like, I know alcoholism is no joke, but sometimes tough love is needed for somebody to really understand the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, I think that's something where it's hard to separate kind of the athlete from the human being, right? When you look at it from an outside perspective, addiction can be hard and something to deal with that has setbacks and successes in that process.
Yep.
The team has said all the right things about, we're willing to welcome him back. You got to keep in mind, he has kind of abandoned this team to their own devices twice in 2 consecutive postseasons. And it really hurt them both times. I think the first year, the team was already injury riddled and that was a bit of a struggle. Last year really hurt this team and their chances. So when all the players say they're willing to welcome him back, they're willing to put in the work to help him become the best that he can be, you believe it. But there definitely will be some conversations internally, I'm sure, about, the damage that was done by his actions and, what they're going to expect from him moving forward. Jared Bednar has been pretty proactive about discussing whatever we need to do, to accommodate him, to help him on his journey as a human being. They're willing to do that. So it'll be interesting to see when you add into the mix the fact that this team has so many injuries. Maybe it softens the edges of the Nichushkin return a little bit, right? Okay, right. We need him. We kept hearing that in the locker room yesterday after that first practice. We need him right now. So I think, that kind of helps smooth over some of those rough edges. But it remains to be seen if he can, stay on the straight and narrow path here and be successful and what that will do for him and what that will do for this team.
Yeah, because when he's healthy and playing, man, he's a huge difference maker for their team.
Yeah, I had guys tell me in the locker room yesterday that they think he's the best power forward in the NHL right now. I mean, that's not a hole that's easy to fill on a team. He had 53 points in 54 games last year, 47 points in 53 games the year before. I mean, very key component of this Avalanche offense. He signed to a long contract. This is a guy that is part of the future for Colorado, and they need him there, and they need him performing, and they need him healthy.
What about Lehkonen? What's his return date?
Yep, Lehkonen will be in the lineup tonight. I expect him to be in the full slot on the top line with Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen. As long as that unit stays together, we've seen a lot of line combinations. We've seen some defensive pairing combinations come and go as the game dictates from Jared Bednar with this kind of depleted lineup. Should be on the power play 1 unit, ready to go. He's excited to get going. A man of few words, Arturi Lehkonen, but you can tell that he's ready to get back out there and help the team, get back out there to having fun. And the team needs him desperately.
Well, that's a huge. He is very underrated. Well, not in Colorado, but maybe around the league. Like, he does a lot. So if he's coming back, Nichushkin's going to be back potentially. We're talking 10 days. So that's 2 pretty big additions to their team in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's almost an entirely new lineup when you really look at it. Like, you have now by the 15th, if all of those guys are back, Drew included, a full top 6.
Yeah.
That they haven't had pretty much all season. It allows you to have guys trickle back down. And Logan O'Connor can move back down to the third line. Miles Wood, he's out right now day to day with an upper body injury, but you get him back and healthy on the third line. Then you have a top 9 ready to go with Parker Kelly in the middle there for the time being. This team is drastically different there. And then you got some time to maybe figure out the defensive struggles that are going on. Jared Bednar has broken up the Taves-Makar duo that has been so effective for the last few years for the Avalanche. It's been Gerard Makar lately, Taves and Josh Manson lately. So, as the forward lines fill in and resources come in, I think it'll trickle down the lineup, even all the way back to goaltending, and things will start to kind of solidify there.
Thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. That'll be interesting to see in a few weeks here, Ryan, just kind of maybe how different the Avs look. And you know what? If they can stay within striking distance, all of a sudden they get those three guys back. That's basically a whole top six line in the NHL. That's a huge addition, especially when your big guys are going. Thanks so much for your time, Ryan. Have a good day.
Makeup.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Ryan Boulding. That's huge. You get Drouin back, you get Lehkonen back, and Nichushkin all in a span of 10 days. Like, that's massive for that team.
I can't think of any 3-player return in recent history that's as big. That really turns your team around. Well, potentially. But anyway.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, for sure.
At least it changes the complexion, at least, in more ways than one, obviously in 3, but in more ways than 3. And I just think in recent history, I think it's pretty rare.
Yeah, no question. Quick break. We'll return. We'll come back. We got Ryan's Rant and More on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Marathon, the Original, and the Orangesicle, made with oranges, orange sorbet, and vanilla frozen yogurt. Happy 25th, Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with a tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
As the Grand Slam of Curling takes place at the Silent Ice Center, Curling Alberta's 50/50 will be supporting grassroots curling in Beaumont. Monies raised will go towards supporting junior curling in Beaumont. So get your 50/50 tickets today at curlbeaumont.ca.
I have a startling fact. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 Alberta men. This could be your brother, son, father, grandfather, or friend. This November, through our Keep It in Alberta campaign, we're raising money to build a new man van, bringing free, life-saving prostate cancer testing directly to Alberta men. Thanks to our partner, the Agate Foundation, every donation will be matched up to $350,000, doubling your impact. Be part of the fight to eliminate advanced prostate cancer. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to donate today.
Are you ready? If you're a member of Vision Credit Union, it's time to get your share of the profits. Join us at your local branch this Friday for Member Appreciation Day. We'll be returning $26.7 million in profit shares to our members via account deposit or check.
If you're a Vision member, get ready to enjoy your annual cash payout. Not a member? Find out how to get your share of the profits with Vision Credit Union. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
You get me tough and turning, sleep at night. Please someone come and rescue me. You won't mind, I'm losing it.
347. Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Let's get to Ryan's rant, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diverse electrical contractor in the province. 4 different areas to help you out. I can do it all. It's actionelectrical.net. Here's TR's Tale / Ryan's rant.
Well, today, Jason, my friend, I've got a few questions that were tossed my way from my podcast, Tales with TR. Pierre McGuire's up this week. Check it out. And figured I'd share them with you and you could help me out. How's that?
Sure.
Hey, TR, my buddy Cal is getting married at Christmas and is pretty pumped about it. Emily is a knockout, but her personality is a 2 out of 10. She also has nothing in common with him, in my opinion. Myself and a few other friends are happy for him, and although we aren't crazy about her, we support his choice and treat her like a sister. They've been together for 2 years now. Last week, I met a girl who wanted to have a nightcap at a piano bar in Yorkville. This is in Toronto. And when we ordered a drink and sat down, we saw Emily and a guy friend sitting alongside each other at a table for 4, and although they weren't kissing, they were sitting next to each other, not across from each other, and they looked overly cozy. When they left, we looked and saw the guy had left his glasses and hotel key card on the table. I wanted to tell my buddy right away, but the thing is, my buddies and I have already been through this once, and the first time we were wrong. We're 99% sure she's cheating, but we aren't positive, and he's happy. What do we do?
You go first, buddy.
Okay, all I could think with this one, this is tough, and there's a lot of detail here. I think I'd snoop around and see if he knew that she was even out there that night. I mean, I wouldn't want to snoop, but come on, this is your friend and it's marriage. So if he did get upset at me, I think he'd get over it at some point, being that I'm concerned for his well-being. Now, I'm not saying I would just go and report that, because then it's like the girl has a magnifying glass on her all the time, and that's not good either. Maybe it was, I don't know, a cousin. Maybe it was a friend. I'm not saying that, well, reading this, I don't know. It's a hotel. Lots of people stay in a hotel and leave their card, right? Like, it happens. So, but I mean, it looks fishy, doesn't it? So maybe I'd just kick around a little bit and just see if he, hey, you know, what was up that night? What were you up to? What did you and Emily do? Oh, Emily had, now if he says Emily had dance recital or something, then I think the writing's on the wall. But maybe he says Emily was out with her friend that night. Do I keep looking into it? You know, so I think I'd snoop around for some information first. I hope that doesn't sound like I'm sitting on the fence too much, but I'd want every opportunity to tell my buddy that, you know, there's a chance that she's cheating on you. But again, the last thing I'll say, can you imagine the boys were wrong the first time? So that plays the biggest factor in this, I think, for me. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah. So they were wrong the first time.
Yeah, it doesn't go into detail, just whatever happened. They didn't like the girl.
Yeah,
And
well,
there's been once already.
Yeah, well, it seems a little bit. Oh, I don't like the girl. Going to make up stories. Like, I don't know, toughen up. You might
It
not.
does seem like that. Exactly.
Doesn't mean they're a cheater, but yeah, I would just ask the guy flat out, or why not just ask her, who was that? What were you doing with him? Don't go behind his back. Go right to the source.
I suppose that's a good answer. Yeah, just go right to her.
Yeah, and just say, hey, I saw you there. I saw that he left his hotel key. What's going on?
What if she backpedals? What if she starts stuttering? Oh, no, we
Well,
were
if she
just
starts stuttering, then to me it's kind of obvious. If she's pretty calm and she's like, "Well, this is who the guy is," and she's like, "Oh, I appreciate you looking out for your friend," right?
True enough. Okay.
Next.
This was sent to me today, so I assume part of this is because Austin Matthews is hurt. So, oh, by the way, that was sent to me by JR in Port Colborne. Okay. If a genie appeared before Austin Matthews right now, does he take 48 goals total this season or go for more on his own? Same question to Zach Hyman and 32.
So Zach Hyman, 32 goals. Is that what he's saying?
Does he take 32 if the genie says right now, well, you're going to get 32 this year, take it or leave it?
Oh, I would still take it all day. Zach Hyman is not going to be, having a ridiculous, like, I got to look it up again, but like his shooting percentages, I think it's something like 3 or 4%, right? Like it's very low. So I wouldn't, it's early on in a season. Things are obviously not going well for a lot of players on the Edmonton Oilers. If you just go off of map, now I don't know which players are going to automatically jump up. The one guy whose shooting percentage is fine is Draisaitl, and his is always high in the 20s or 19. But you look at Hyman's at like 5%. Now,
which is first of all, that's funny because Draisaitl shoots it from a lot of unorthodox positions. So it's wild that his is actually real good because he does take a lot of bad angle shots.
Yeah,
Scores on a lot of them.
Yeah, he doesn't waste a ton of shots. But if you look at them, like Hyman in his career, if you look at the years he scored, since 2019, here's his shooting percentage: 14.6, 19.8, 13, 12.7, 13, 18.6. Last year, which is a big high for him. So, the year he scored 36, it was 13. It's not crazy high. He's at 5.7. So just if I think even if he just gets to 12, let's say when it's all said and done, the amount of shots he's going to get, I would still take 32 goals for Zach Hyman.
Yeah, I know but I'm saying the genie says you get 32. Right now, I'm a genie. I'm going to give you 32 or go on your own. You're saying you'd go on my own. I think I'm going to get more than 32. The genie's doing you a favor here, saying, "Hey, you're in a slump."
So you're saying, am I going above 32?
Are you saying, "Screw you, genie"?
Yeah, I thought at the start of the year Hyman would be between. I think I said 35 to 42. Like back-to-back 50. I think there's a lot of people that don't recognize how difficult that is. There's only 2 active players that have done it: Ovechkin and Draisaitl. That's it. It is hard to score 50 goals consecutive seasons, especially if you're not considered, like a guy who's a perennial goal scorer. Now, Hyman's a good goal scorer. He's scored the second most goals in the NHL the last few seasons. Good goal scorer. But 50 and 50 back-to-back is very hard. You got to be healthy, number one. You can need some luck, number two. Then you need a lot of skill. So that's why I went lower. Barring injury, I still think Hyman, when it's all said and done, is a 35 goal scorer. So I would go above 30.
Think so too. I had him at 40 anyway, and I'm going to keep that. Now, the same question for me, I would think if I'm Zach, I'm going to bet on myself. Now, the same question to Austin Matthews, 48. Now, I'm sure being injured plays.
48 goals?
Yeah. He's got 5 now.
Yeah.
And he's going to play less. And Berube hockey, who knows where that's going to go? Now he's captain. There are factors that might.
Yeah. Well, there's another example of scoring 50 is back-to-back is even for the currently, the best, highest goal scorer the last few seasons in the NHL anyway has been Austin Matthews overall, right? He scored 60 twice, which is really hard to do. Like in the history of the game, there's not many guys who scored 60 twice. Never mind doing it in a span of a few seasons. So, he's 5 for 13. If I'm doing the math, what was that? Like it's still, it's below his normal pace. He's a guy though that can heat up at any point. 48 for him. Ooh. He has I'd probably still go 48. The thing with Matthews is like last year, he actually only missed one game, which is good. Like I was comparing.
I know what you mean. He often misses like 15 or 10. Or,
well, he'll miss about, on average, misses about 8 or 9, give or take. Yeah. So, he had the 1 year he missed 20. And he's at a 14. Those are the only 2 seasons he's ever missed more than 2. He's played all the games available to him, I think, twice his first year, and then in the shortened 20 season when there were 70 games for Toronto and he'd played all of them. He had 47 goals. He was on pace to score 50 then. 48, like the only reason I would be like, oof, I would take that is because of his injury history. It's not his talent. I think he'll score if he plays.
I'm taking that into me too. I agree with you. Yeah.
So that would be the one thing I'd look at and say, he's not playing tonight. So there's 68 games. He's got to score 43 goals in 68 games. That's not very hard for him to do. So yeah, I'd still want to lean towards higher just because I think Matthews is a guy that can score 50 again pretty easily.
Thank you, Jason. That was from Jazzy T in Kenora. Okay, last question from M Pop in Burlington, Vermont, by way of Saskatoon. So M Pop is Canadian. My girlfriend has me either one of these options. Okay, his girlfriend's going to get him, and he can just say the word without reading out the huge letter because this is what it's about. Springsteen live in Frankfurt, Germany, next summer. A cruise to the Bahamas. I'm assuming that's leaving from Miami. He just says cruise to the Bahamas. A VR system and a PS5. So one of those things you wrap on your head with a PS5. Or a Blue Jays weekend in Seattle. So living in Burlington from Saskatoon. What's that?
Like what would I take if I was him?
Yeah, he says, hey, Tier, I want some advice. Which one of these would you want to do? Springsteen live in Frankfurt, Germany, a cruise to the Bahamas, a VR system, and a PS5, or the Blue Jays in Seattle weekend.
Well, the Blue Jays, I guess I'm looking and say, which one could I do more often? The Blue Jays in Seattle would happen every year, so I'd probably take that one off the list. Springsteen, how many times is he going to tour? Right? How many more years does he have left? I have no idea. But like you could do Jays in Seattle for probably the next 20 years. Is the boss touring for the next 20 years? Probably not. So I guess, if I'm that big of a fan, like I'm assuming if I'm going there for a concert, I'm doing other things, right? Like I'm going there for a week and I'm going to the concert and then I'm doing other stuff. So I'm not a cruise guy. So that would be my guess. And I'm definitely the VR thing. Like what? Like that's not even an option for me. I don't even compare. I don't even put that one in the same category. That's like the East Coast League of options. It's not close.
I guess a VR system and a PS5 would weigh in at over $1,000, and it's the only tangible thing that you'd have. But I agree with you. For me, it'd be Springsteen. I've seen him 4 times. It's not just the Springsteen, although it's a great show. Part of it is, like you said, I mean, how many more times are you going to see it? And the other thing, it's in Frankfurt, Germany, man. Could be no concert. I don't mind cruises. I really don't. I'm not a cruise hater, but cruise to the Bahamas, what do I want to even do that other than there's sunny, nice weather? Blue Jays in Seattle, I agree. Now, for me, I lived out, in Washington State, so be a great weekend, but no. VR system, no. I have a PS5. I still wouldn't pick it over the boss or Germany, so it's Springsteen live in Frankfurt for me, and that goes to M Pop in Burlington, Vermont. Thanks for listening.
Well, there you go. TR, have yourself a wonderful day. We'll see if the Oilers can keep the Vegas Golden Knights winless on the road early on this NHL season tomorrow night. And one quick question for you. Connor McDavid did not rule out returning on Saturday. If the doctor gives him the green light, he plays on Saturday, regardless of what the original timeline was. If the doctor says, man, we've done all the tests, he's strong enough, he plays Saturday, yay or nay for you?
Yeah. If the doctor says it, I think doctors are overcautious these days, and it's early, but I think they need them. Right? These wins are going to add up and losses are going to add up at the end of the year. Whether they're all the same, they're all worth the same amount of points. I'm not saying they're going to be chasing the playoffs, but still seeding, all that stuff, and to get him going. He likes getting points. He likes playing. He likes being in a rhythm. He's the leader of the team. For all those, now again, the doctor says it. Okay, yes. But anyway, that's my answer, and I'm sticking with it.
TR, have yourself a wonderful day. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Thank you. I'll be Hockey Helps the Homeless November 7th and 8th, Thursday, Friday, and then we're going on tour with Shoresy. Check it out. Look at my Instagram, Terry Ryan 2020 for details. And I'll be dropping a puck in Black Falls at a junior hockey game on the 23rd of November. See you all there. Thank you, Declan. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. See you all in a couple days.
There you go. That's TR. Yeah, it's coming to town. I like it. Quick break. Let's get to the deck man and the sports 1440 update brought to you by the Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is a sports 1440 update.
Trade deadline day in the NFL and plenty of moves to go along with it. The Washington Commanders solidifying their secondary, trading for New Orleans Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. The Steelers landing Jets wide receiver Mike Williams in exchange for a 2025 fifth-round pick and Packers pass rusher Preston Smith for a 2025 seventh. The LA Rams are trading cornerback Tre'Davious White to the Baltimore Ravens. The Detroit Lions adding pass rusher Zadarius Smith in a deal with division rival Cleveland Browns. And another piece of trade news, the Dallas Cowboys acquiring wide receiver Jonathan Mingo and a 2025 seventh-round pick from the Carolina Panthers. NHL news, Braden Point will be out for the Lightning tonight against the Blues, and Austin Matthews will be out for the Bruins. In the NBA, the league has suspended Philadelphia 76ers Joel Embiid for 3 games for an altercation, shoving a columnist postgame in the locker room. 11 games in the NHL tonight. All gets going with the Sens and Sabres, Bruins and Leafs, Flames and Canadiens, Flyers, and Hurricanes all at 5. And in the NBA, 12 games in action, 2 kicking off the action with the Pistons and Hornets at 5, Orlando Magic, and Pacers at the same time, and the Toronto Raptors in the late game as they're out in Sacramento playing the Kings at 8. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, Stingray radio station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes and understand systems in your area. So we don't just think about today. We think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods.
Portions of this
we call home. And the places we will call home. We're there when new neighborhoods are developed and return when it's time to replace them. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. I think it's safe to say we are all paying attention to interest rates these days. If so, you'll like this. We have 0% financing available on Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0% on the Dodge Durango and the all-new Hornet. And the rates on Ram 1500, Ram 2500, and Ram 3500, you guessed it, 0%. Are you picking up the theme? We have 0% financing on virtually all 2024 new models with hundreds to choose from. Why pay interest? Instead, come get a new vehicle at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
If you really don't want to dance.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, sports1440.ca. Got a lot of text flying in our email inbox, 833-401-1440 minute. Gregor, did you hear you correctly? Did you say Vegas hasn't won on the road this year? No, they haven't. It's weird. Now, they've played 12 games. They're 8-0 at home. Like, they are killing it on home ice right now, dominating. But on the road, not so much. They are 0-3-1. So, you know what? Hey, Vegas, how about this? They've outscored, like, look at their numbers. They've outscored teams 43-19 on home ice. Like, just pumping them. Their power play is 35% on home ice. Compare that to the Oilers on home ice. They're 2-4-1. That hasn't been good. Their penalty kill is 57%. So not great. Like, the Oilers have been outscored 24-13 on home ice. Like, think about it. 3-0, 6-0. There's 9 goals right there. 5-2, 4-1. You're not getting a great bang for your buck as a season ticket holder or somebody who goes to a few games this year. Hasn't been ideal yet at home. They were a pretty good home team last year, so they're hoping that maybe they can figure that out a little bit. They're better on the road. They're 4-2. Vegas, meanwhile, though, as I mentioned, Vegas on the road 0-3-1. They've only scored 11 goals, so they scored 43 goals at home, almost 4.5 goals a game on home ice, and on the road, their offense is okay, but they are leaking goals. They've given up 4.5 goals on the road. Their penalty kill on the road, 62.5%, but their power play is still good at 27. Like, their power play, the Oilers are going to have to be really disciplined because Vegas's power play is good right now. So their penalty kill on the road, their goals against on the road. Hey, maybe Edmonton can take advantage of that. Now I got to look and break down exactly which teams they played at home and on the road. That obviously is something you have to look at, right? If all their home games are against the Sharks and the Blackhawks, etc., and then the road games are in Florida, well, I could maybe understand a little bit. So I got to dive in a little bit more. But just looking on the what I like to call the just the front page stats. Sometimes you got to dig in because it doesn't always tell you the tail, right? Like a lot of people, I went back and looked. Did you know that Darnell Nurse's goals against per 60? Now, hasn't been great for a while, but it's exact same as it's been in the last 4 years at 5-on-5. Penalty kill's brutal. How about this? Last season, in 131 minutes on the penalty kill, Matthias Ekholm was on for 14 goals against. He's already been on for 10 this year. Nurse been on for 11, right? Hasn't worked out. The two lefties together has not worked on the penalty kill at all. So they got to figure it out. Their penalty kill. At some time, a coach got to look and say, hey, that duo, for whatever reason, is not working. Now, I got to go down and break down every penalty kill goal and see what's the issue, right? So, because are you on the ice? Like last night, I don't think Ekholm and Nurse really had any a big issue on that goal. That's, as Henrique said, he turns the wrong way. That's his guy in the high slot there, right? You're not asked, your defenseman, you go out that high, you're screwed, right? Especially on that play that's bang bang. That's more on your high forward not to allow that guy, right? And Henrique took all the responsibility, said that's on me. I turned the wrong way. I take full responsibility for it. And like, there's not much more, right? Hey, and because when things are going wrong, it seems to compound, and a wrong turn turns into a goal against. When things are going right, a wrong turn leads to either a goalie making a great save, the guy missing the net. You know, you get a little bit of positive karma. And right now, they're getting none of that. None of it at all. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, my wife's cousin, Grayson Sachin, just got signed an entry-level contract with Florida. He's playing for the Oil Kings. She honestly is wondering, how can you be signed by an NHL team but still playing junior from Nogi? Well, the majority of players sign their contract before they ever turn pro. Right? Teams sign them because now they're under contract. Because if you're drafted and you don't sign a contract, so let's say you're drafted in 2024 and you're a CHL player. You have until June 1st of 2026 to sign a contract, or you go back to the draft. Now, depending on your age, right? You'd go back in the draft if you're under 20. So teams and players to an extent as well, they want to get signed, right? They get their contract. You do get your signing bonus for that first year you'll up front, but then you have what's called the slide rule. So you can sign a player, like they got drafted here in 2024. Guys get signed and they go back to junior. And some of them go back to junior a second time and their contract just slides. Your contract doesn't officially begin until you either turn pro or you're a 20-year-old playing junior. Now, you wouldn't get paid your money that season as a 20-year-old in junior, but it would count as one of your 3 years of your entry-level deal. So, teams sign the guys, but that's how you do it. It doesn't mean he's going to play, and it doesn't even guarantee that he's ever going to play in the NHL. I think that's the other thing. I always remind everybody that, a pretty sobering stat, 97% of WHL players never play in the NHL. Like, it is hard. The triangle just keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner near the top. And so it's a huge accomplishment just to get an NHL contract. And then, hopefully you get a chance to eventually play in the NHL at some point. But it's a reminder that it is extremely difficult to make that jump. No question. Hey, Greg, you mentioned the Oilers hits, but I didn't think the Oilers were that physical last year. Do you know where they ranked last year in hits? Yeah. The Oilers last season at 5-on-5 averaged 22.8 hits per 60, basically, per game. And this season, they're dead last at 13. Now, and the Oilers, by the way, because if people are going to argue, well, you have the puck all the time, you're not physical. I'll give you a few teams. Do you know who led the NHL in hits last year? Any guesses? I'll give you a few seconds. You can yell it out in your car. Who led the NHL in hits last year? I'll give you hints. The same team is leading the NHL in hits this year. The Florida Panthers. Did they win the Stanley Cup? Did they possess the puck a lot? Were they chasing all over the ice? No. They're aggressive. I think it's very much a generalization to claim because you possess the puck more, that means that you're not going to have to hit. You can do both. Florida has proven it. Right? Florida's a top 10 possession team. Now, keep in mind, when we talk top 10 possession, we're talking like 53 to 47%. It's not like you're 75 to 25. Right? So you have to be realistic when you want to use those numbers. Right? Now, there's a team that has success by possessing the puck and is not physical. It's Carolina Hurricanes. And they've done that for a long time. And it works for them. That's fine. Now, it hasn't worked in the playoffs, but it works in the regular season. Florida, physical team and a puck possession team. Now, they're not a top puck possession team like Carolina, but Carolina shoots from everywhere. So what's your definition of puck possession? Right? Is it positive or negative? All I know is Florida's had some pretty good success. Being physical, having skill, holding the puck. There's different ways, but I don't buy that they had 5 hits last night. 5. Yes, they had the puck. They didn't have the puck 3 times as much as New Jersey. Like, to me, there's got to be they're willing to drop the gloves, so I don't buy that they're, quote, soft. Because we've seen it. They'll step up. They'll protect one another. Like, New Jersey did nothing for anybody to really get upset about last night. Right? Some games are non-physical. I get it. But the Oilers last year, per 60, was 22 hits at 5-on-5. There's about 48, 49 minutes per game in the NHL. Right? But you look at it this season, they're not hitting at all. I think they have one game where they have more than 20 hits. One. So yes, now they're not built as a really big physical group. Connor Brown isn't physical. Jeff Skinner isn't physical. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins isn't physical. Leon Draisaitl isn't physical in the hit department. I have no issues in Draisaitl's game. I don't care if Leon Draisaitl's hitting, to be honest. Doesn't need to be. But they don't have a lot of bangers. But just because you don't, like, look at Corey Perry. Corey Perry is 80th all time in goals in the NHL. 80th. He's 39 years of age. And he looks around the room sometimes and he's like, you know what? We need somebody to try to get us going. I'll drop my gloves. He's never been that much of a fighter, but he's willing to do it. Get outside your comfort zone. Noah Philp, throw some hits. Right? Go down the list. Connor Brown, you're a really good skater. Just every now and then, finish a hit. Doesn't have to be all the time, but my goodness, it can't be never. So it's one element. It's not why they're losing games. It's not a direct correlation. But I don't buy that you don't need to hit if you want to have possession. The Oilers were what? I'll go back and look. I think they were 2nd or 3rd in possession last year. They were 14th in hits. They weren't 32nd. Like, they desperately miss Evander Kane. Kane brings that element himself. He's a guy, he'll be physical for your team. But, Holloway, Fogle would run into guys. Not a huge hitter, but he's physical. Get on the forecheck. Desharnais. So yeah, collectively as a group, no question they've lost. I don't think it's they're soft. They just have a lot of guys right now. And you know what? Some point the coach might say, hey, I don't care if it's in your DNA or not. You can still finish a body check here or there. Try to get some momentum going. Do something. Hey, Gregor, people that are recording hits during a game, what do they constitute? Would this play a factor in how they're calculated? Rob from Sherwood Park. Well, it's the same people, Rob, who did it last year. I don't think they've suddenly decided, well, this year we're going to be much harder on the orders and what constitutes a hit. Right? So they have a definition. It's written out. Right? Now, is every building exactly the same? No. So I will admit to that. But I'm going off of a team that played in the exact same league, unless there's significant, I'd have to go around the league, but most of those people don't change. It's not like you're getting tons of new statisticians every year. And you know what? Sarah did it last year. And now Carol's doing it. And she's much more of a staunch or strict decider of hits. The stats guys in Edmonton, I know, at least in Edmonton, I've seen them for, God, they've been there longer than me, some of them. Lots of them being there a long time. And it's that way for a lot of buildings. So, you might lose one person eventually, but I don't think it's going to change it that much where you go from being 14th and having 10 more per game on average to this year being last in the league. So I don't, that doesn't impact. Hey, Gregor, do reverse hits count? Yes, it should. Why not? It's contact. If a guy comes at you, you brace yourself and you lean in, because usually the reverse hit is you're the one initiating contact. To me, that's a hit all day long. I remember a few years ago I asked, and I know the one guy, Paul, I talked to, he said, well, yeah, of course. Why? It's a hit. But no, not every hit is created equal to, right? Like you get a mid of the ice, huge, like a Jacob Trouba hit, it still only counts as one. So I understand that factor, but anybody who watches the Oilers this year is going to agree that there haven't been many situations where, to me, you get a hit and then you get another one, and the crowd just naturally gets into it. And it's a way to bring some emotion to the game. And there just simply has not been enough of it. There just hasn't been. So it's one factor. It's not the only factor. Like the main factor right now for me for the Oilers is their special teams are terrible on both ends. Power play, penalty kill. Both sides equal. I don't blame one more than the other. Don't try to cop out. They both stink. 60%, 14%. They're brutal. They got to be better. Finishing 5-on-5, especially, well, obviously on the power play, but finishing for this team, it's got to be better. So, those are some big ones. It's funny is the Oilers' overall 5-on-5 defensive play, the thing has been pretty decent. Now, they still, like Nurse is on the ice for too many goals against. Just a fact. Now, Ekholm's on for 2 less, but he also plays more minutes. Yeah, and I understand that Ekholm plays with more offensive guys, so he's probably defending less. I understand all of that. But Nurse has got to lower his goals against. I don't think that's asking for a lot. He can be better. Make better decisions. Like, I'm sorry, there should not be, wow, geez, it tries to do too much. That should not, that excuse is way too old for Darnell Nurse at this stage of his career. I'm sorry, it just is. That can't be the excuse that he's trying to do too. It doesn't work. If you haven't figured that out now, are you ever going to figure it out? So I'm sorry, no. Be disciplined. Stick to your position and to your responsibility. And if the other guys screw up, live with it. Start there. That would be my advice to him. We'll talk to Struddy next about the defense play. And specifically, we're going to go in depth on the penalty kill and what is wrong on the PK and how can they fix it. It's coming up next with Struds on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program.
It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
And it gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You'll also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just off Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, plus save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
When skies turn gray and chaos unfolds, there's always a beacon of hope. The Red Cross. Through floods, fires, and unforeseen calamities, they are the helping hands, mending wounds and restoring faith. You can make a huge difference. Visit redcross.ca. Donate today. Light a lamp of hope.
Woo! It's a little toe tapper. You know what it means. Struds On, brought to you by Silent Ice, the Grand Slam of Curling. On now at Silent Ice Center. From today through until the 10th, the top men's and women's teams in the world will be on hand competing at the Co-op Canadian Open. You can get your tickets at silenticecenter.com. We had Rachel Homan on the show yesterday, and she is rolling. And you have a chance to kind of playing in her home rink, being from Beaumont. So check it out, silenticecenter.com.
This is the Jason Gregor Show.
One another. And actually trying to get this one to block in the back. And Studwick just go running ball over Nurmanen. And now Tremblay grabs Studwick. And Studwick will finally get what he's been wanting since the first period, which is a chance to throw a couple.
Presented by Play Alberta.
Well, there you go. Trying to throw a couple, Strutty? Always trying to tell who gave you an errant elbow that time?
Yeah, I think it was in warm-up. Someone gave me a dirty look. Yeah, we were getting pounded with the Blackhawks. So what are you supposed to do, right? You got to show that you care and get out there and get kicked out so you don't get any more minuses.
Yeah. Hey, I know you don't get a minus on the penalty kill, Struds, but oh my goodness, it's in the ditch right now. As a longtime penalty killer, Ekholm and Nurse together hasn't worked. Right, they're on for 11 and 10 goals respectively. Like Ekholm is on for 10 goals on the PK already this year. He was on for 14 all of last season. So, what have you seen? Let's start just from the defenseman alone. What have you seen? I don't know if there's anything in that duo you're not liking. What is it that the penalty kill is in such disarray right now?
Well, first off, I don't believe that playing your offside in the penalty kill makes a big difference.
Okay.
There's not a ton of skills played that need to be made. It's angles, it's stick positioning. When you get it, you're not trying to slide it to the center in the middle. I mean, you can, but oftentimes it's a hard play. And that hard play can be a rim, it can be off the glass, or hard up the middle. So, the idea, they're challenged, maybe they're struggling together, and maybe that the one guy's not used to playing the offside. But I don't think, in my experience, playing the offside doesn't make a difference on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
It's hard to say one thing that it is challenging this penalty kill. They're getting beat in different ways every night. Like you look at the goal last night, easier zone entry, and it was, I don't know if it was 4 or 5 passes, and then the pass slid right. It was a parallel pass right to the goal line, and a guy just shot it in. No one was around him. Jesper Bratt was right there. So what I'm seeing is they're not working in sync. Last year it was just money, right? So the middle forward would go and he'd push the guy down the wall, whether it was the forward or the D-man, push him down the wall. That forward would have no choice but to kick it down. All of a sudden that D-man would already be moving towards that area and pinch that guy off.
Mm-hmm.
Now if that guy was unsure what to do, he'd throw it around the net. That D-man was already jumping behind. Now they're always a step or 2 behind. And it's really hurting him. And that's just one example. There are many examples where they're either all going, you're all going, or none of you are going. When 2 go and 2 don't, now we got a problem.
Yeah. Wow. So there's not as much continuity. I think that's safe to say. Adam Henrique admitted that on the goal last night, he just turned the wrong way. And in a split, like you turn left instead of right, Struddy, in the NHL, you don't have time to recover in a lot of cases, especially as he said, when things aren't going well, you turn wrong, it ends up in your back of your net. When you're going right and you turn the wrong way, the goalie makes a great save or the guy misses the net, right? It's just kind of how things work sometimes. But so if you were running the Oilers penalty kill, what are the first few things that you think Mark Stewart and that team are talking about to try to get them back on track so they're not just, hemorrhaging goals against?
Well, confidence is a huge thing. And so how do you build confidence? I think you try to go shorter. Now, the problem is they did go short last night, 28 seconds. But in that 28 seconds, the Devils scored. So it's easy to say go short shifts, but you also have to get the job done. So I would ask them that if you're out there and you're out there for 20, 30 seconds, you ice it down, let's change right away. Even 10 seconds. Just get more people out there so it feels like you don't have to do as much. And then a couple simple directives. Our number one thing, let's try to keep the puck out of the middle of the ice. In our own zone. So last night that didn't happen, right? So let's defend the middle of the ice and push them to the outside. Number two, stops and starts. No turning away from the puck. As soon as you turn away from the puck on the penalty kill, they're too skilled. This isn't the third and fourth line. This is the most skilled players in the world, and they love it when you turn their back on them, and that's when they make the play. So those would be two things. If they just started there and just say, and then after the game, even if they're, let's say, 1 for 4 in the penalty kill, or well, I guess 3 for 4, let's say. They're like, hey guys, look, we did these things well. Let's add another element. Because right now there's not one thing. I can't say it's not shot blocking, it's not being in the lane, it's not sticks in lane. It's something different every night. So let's just try to get something off the dock, and then we'll try to add a third thing and a fourth thing, because the guys' heads are spinning. They're jumping over those boards thinking they're going to get scored on. And they're right. They have been and will be.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's not look good at all. They really miss Ceci and Desharnais, right? Nurse and Ekholm played that side. You had Nurse and Ceci, you had Ekholm and Desharnais, and they played as duos, and it was very good on the penalty kill last year. And I think I said at the time, Strutty, like they don't block a lot of shots either. That's another thing that's killing this team. Like I'm not saying that the Martin Marincin level of shot blocking, but they don't block enough shots as a team.
No, so you know what? And it's not even always the shot block, Griggs. It's changing the guy's play. So, if you're in the right spot, he might not shoot it because you're in the right spot. He might have to shoot it past you, or you might not even shoot it or pass it. So, I don't know what you want to call those, like denied lanes or whatever, but that's also something I look for. When a D-man pops out, let's say they're in an umbrella and it kicks out, and that D-man goes out right in the right lane, and now they can't shoot or pass it, that's a denied, right? So that's exactly what you want. Now they have to change their plan. And we haven't seen enough of that either. So you're right. The size of Ceci and Desharnais does make a difference, especially on the penalty kill. They're big. They take up space. And, I think people misinterpret sometimes what D-men do in the penalty kill. Sometimes it looks like you're doing nothing, but you're just in the right place. Mm-hmm. You're in the right place. You're denying passing. You're denying shots. And that's what good penalty killers do. They're in the right place. When you're running around and skating really hard, I feel that means you're working too hard, or you're in the wrong place to get to the right spot because you've moved out of that right spot.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at the Oilers' shot blocks on the penalty kill. Ekholm has 6, Nurse has 4, and then no one else has more than 2. I got to go back to last season. Like I know at 5-on-5, Edmonton wasn't a huge shot blocking team last year, and that's fine. But on the penalty kill, I know that they blocked an infinitely amount of more shots than they have so far this season. And so
so where do you block them? So generally speaking, it's you maybe front it on a point shot. That's where you block it.
Yep.
Or on the flanks. When a guy's going, you get out there and you block that shot. There's a few others, like we saw, I think Dermott did one a couple nights ago where you kind of present yourself in the front. But generally speaking, those are 2 places. So you know where the puck's trying to go, you know where the guys are. And that's the challenge, to be in those spots, but not to move out and spread out too much. Try to keep it somewhat tight so you can now get in those spots and block it.
Jason Strado joins us, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Funny thing is, Strady, like last night again, like take out special teams because it's terrible. But 5-on-5, it's hard to really complain about the Oilers' overall game last night.
They had a good game. I don't want to say good game, but
I know what you mean.
5-on-5, Henrique, goes off the crossbar. That goes in. Maybe we're talking about a different outcome. Paul Colson misses a tap in. Again, I think it was 1-0 at that point. That goes in, maybe it gets the guys going and then gets not them going as far as playing better, but just now it's 1-1, maybe it scores 2-1, now it's 3-1, and we're talking about different outcome. So the challenge, though, Greg, I think when your specialty teams are struggling like they are, there's so much pressure on your 5-on-5 to get it done. You have to overcompensate because you're probably, like last night, -1. You're -1 in the specialty teams, so you've got to score probably 2 or 3 to overcome that and the other team scoring on their 5-on-5.
Yeah. Well, right now, the Oilers, they go into every game trailing 1-0. They used to go into every game almost leading 1-0 because their power play was averaging a goal a game. It's switched completely. They've allowed 14 power play goals in 13 games. So it's like, and I know that doesn't mean you give up one every game. They're just going on the average. It's like to go into every game and they're trailing 1-0 before the game even starts because you're like, well, inevitably they're going to give up a power play goal. Like it's a tough play to play because, and that's why I always chuckle and be, penalties, special teams don't matter. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? There's more goals per minute in special teams than there's any other time of the game. It's a massive part of the game.
And then it flows through the rest of your game as well.
Yeah.
Because now, you think about those penalty killers, they're not feeling great about themselves. And it's hard because now all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I'm not doing my job. And on the penalty kill. But when you're feeling it, and I felt that feeling, when you're feeling the penalty kill, you jump the boards. You don't even touch the boards. You can't wait to get over there. Who do you want to send? It doesn't matter. We're going to get it done. And that's the attitude they had last year. But now guys, they're not feeling the same. And then you go to the power play, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't like the 2 D-men on the power play. It looks very stale.
Yes.
It looks like
totally.
Ekholm and Bouchard are kind of passing to each other, and then the forwards are like, okay, hold on, is it you or am I, where's everybody? No one knows where anyone's going. I think they got to go back to the 4 forwards. And I'd probably put Skinner out there because Skinner's a bit of a freelancer like Connor's able to do. And at least it gets a little bit more movement. Last night, so stagnant. Okay, you're on your one time. No, you're on your one time. No, I'm going to go on my, no, hold on. Who's on their one time? Get us both going on our one. Like, it was so stagnant. Meanwhile, the forwards, they don't really know what they're doing. So I know it sounds like McDavid's coming back sooner or later, but I just think they got to get back to 4 forwards because right now, the duo up top.
Yeah, it's not. I last night their power play looked anemic. It was a momentum sponge. It sucked all the momentum out. The building was deathly quiet right after. And to me, I was like, well, that's where game over. They had that early power play, and nothing came of it. We'll have to reconnect with Struds here. I think he's gone. So the penalty kill, you have to start there. I was looking at shots blocked. So last season, and I'd like to go by per 60 because obviously when you're in shorter season you can't go. But so in blocks per 60 last year amongst the guys who played the most minutes, which of course were the defensemen, right? And CC played with Nurse and Desharnais played with Ekholm. And it's interesting to note that CC was 6.73 shots blocked per 60. Nurse was 14.18. Ekholm was 3.7. Desharnais 14.29. So on one pairing, Desharnais seemed to block a lot of shots. And then on the other pairing, it was Nurse that blocked a lot of shots. All right. This season, no one. So they had 2 guys at 14. They got 1 guy over 9, and that's Ekholm this year. So right there, Struddy, if I just look at block shots from the defenseman in a per 60 basis, it's significantly lower. Nurse, he was 14 last year, right? Him and Desharnais were both at 14, and they were on different units for much of that season, right? So Nurse was the one kind of the shot blocker on his pair. Desharnais was a shot blocker on his pair, and it worked. And this year, because a lot of times it's the D-men, sucks for them because you're seeing a lot of the shots from the flanks, right? Like there's not many guys who shoot, from the top of the umbrella very often, right? People think Bouchard shoots a lot. He doesn't really shoot that much when they're power plays. No one shoots a lot from the blue line. It's been proven it doesn't work on the power play for the most part. And so your D-men got to eat those flank shots. And right now they're not doing it.
No. And I think it goes back to that idea of the timing. understanding the timing. When do I jump up? Because one of the things I used to love, and I'm not that I was superb at it, but when you can see that point guy is going to have to throw it down to the half wall, and you pre-jump that guy. Like that is I love that, because now you're getting there when he's getting the puck, and it unsettles him. Doesn't matter if it's Jason Strudwick or Mario Lemieux. It's unsettling to be jumped at the same time the puck arrives at you. And then what that tells my partners and my partner and the wingers, like, let's all go aggressive. Let's all jump and make it aggressive. And last year they had that sense of when to jump, and we're all jumping at the same time and putting the other team a little bit on tilt. And we're not seeing that this year. And so, it's Mark Stewart, he was getting a ton of love last year by me for sure, and now it hasn't quite gone the same way, even close to it. So they got to figure out how to solve it. Is it the system? Well, no, the system's worked. We've seen it work. It's the personnel understanding when to do it, and they've got to figure it out quick, because it is as much as the penalty kill won them games last year, it is doing the same in the opposite direction this year, unfortunately for the Oilers.
Yeah, no question. Jason Strudwick joins us. Struddy, what do you now? McDavid's close. Let's guess Saturday potentially that he's ready. He comes back. Jeff Skinner, I'd like to see him with McDavid. I'd put Nugent Hopkins. Podkolzin can go on my third line if need be, or maybe I guess you keep Podkolzin there. Maybe you put Nugent Hopkins on the third line and try to get Henrique and them going, because they're just not producing anything offensively. Or do you just put Nugent Hopkins back with McDavid and Hyman?
Yeah, I think that, I've liked Paul Colson games beside Draisaitl. Now, he's got to convert, but what I like is I think he understands how to play with Draisaitl. He's retrieving the pucks. We saw the goal early in the game 2 games ago, and he's being physical. He's getting in there and getting pucks, and he seems to understand where Leon is, or Leon's telling him where he is to release, to get him the puck in the offensive zone. So I'm going to leave that together. Nuge, to me, he looks tired, and he doesn't have the jump that we're normally used to seeing him. And I wonder if he isn't experiencing some effects from the long run last year. So, maybe slot him in the third spot and kind of let him, as you say, kind of help that line get going, because that's a very veteran line that should be able to, tilt the ice most nights with those 3 guys. And there's some speed on the wings to complement Henrique's brain in the middle. And then, I put Skinner up top. See what it looks like. The challenge though for Skinner is the same challenge he has with Leon, is that Skinner likes to carry the puck a little bit. But when you're playing with 97, your job's to slide it to him and then go get open. He'll find you, or, create space for him, or whatever it is. So I think that is how I'd like to start, assuming everyone comes back and they're all healthy for, let's say the game in Vancouver on Saturday night.
Struddy, one last one for your Giants. Are you a believer that you've found a replacement for Saquon Barkley?
Who, in Tracy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I hope so. I mean, we're looking for anything good to come out of this year, right? I think it's clearly we're trending towards the bottom. We're at the bottom, actually, so not trending. We are at the bottom, or right near there. But I'll tell you what, Grace, I want to say, I'm a pretty open guy, and I try to not judge, but that picture of you from Saturday night, I haven't eaten. That's 3 days, but I haven't been able to eat. Seeing you in those stockings.
Well, buddy. Hey, did you see all the compliments about how good my legs looked? Whew, buddy, I got a lot of compliments.
I thought those were your arms. They were so skinny. I thought you had sleeves on your arms, and you somehow had an optical illusion.
Sleek. Like, I couldn't believe how many people commented on them. So, hey, looking good.
I haven't eaten.
Yeah. So,
it's a diet.
Hey, you know what's ready? It's Halloween. You got to dress up sometimes, have a little bit of fun. But I did realize after looking at the photo, it's I'm kind of like a B. Arthur when it comes to female. Not a very attractive female. I get that. But my legs look.
Did you win that? What was it?
No, there was no
murder mystery.
No, I turned out to be the murderer. So, but I did part of the
part of that picture.
Part of it. It's true. Part of the game is that, like, you get all this cash and then you try to bribe people to get other money. And I did finish second in that. I did get a lot of money. So, but just came up short, about $50 short. So I was kind of rattled. I thought I'd win that one. So, because you got to kind of manipulate, make a few little, try to tell people what they think is happening in the game. And plus, I think when you're the murderer, maybe no, I didn't find out I was the murderer till about an hour and a half in, because it was like they give you the thing first and then you get a second envelope later. Obviously, you can't tell anybody you're the murderer. So it's one of those. It's like Clue, and you got to figure it out, right? It was Mrs. White with a dagger and da da da. So yeah. So there you have it.
I guarantee you're the guy trying the hardest in that whole game. If I was there, I would have just been like, let's just have a couple drinks.
Oh yeah,
here's my money.
You're the worst. Like, hey, strike anything. If you're there, give it your best. What if one of your kids that you coach said, "Hey, Mr. Strudwick, I'm just happy to be here. Would you like it?" No, you wouldn't.
I'm just there to relax. I don't need to be in there mixing it up, trying my hardest.
Then don't. Well, it's not like that. I'm trying hard. I'm interacting with other people. That's the whole point of the game. You talk to everybody. Hey, what's going on? And play in character. But then don't. I would just say this: don't go to the party then. Right? Don't
just have a relaxed time.
Well, no, because then you're ruining the game for everybody else. What if one of the kids is like, "Hey, coach, I just like being here on Saturday. I don't really want to work hard. Is that acceptable to you? Yes or no?"
Well, it's a little different. We're not having drinks at practice.
No, I don't need to have a drink to have a good time. Hey, buddy, maybe we got to have a bigger conversation here. Yeah, well, clearly. Well, you need drinks just to go to the doctor's office. Never mind go to a party.
Oh yeah.
So
it's like prohibition over at the Gregor's house. No drinking while we're playing games.
No. That never happens. That that. Don't falsify things, okay? We're all about truth. So. Struddy, have yourself a wonder. Hey, have you talked to how's that? Because I know your in-laws are American. How's the voting? How's the politics going in your in-laws' house right now?
Oh, we got a family group chat, and there's lots coming in. We got lots of chatter coming in across the line. So it's crazy, but it's going to be an interesting night. And a quick shout out to Connor. Him and his that's awesome. Congrats to him. I'm so excited. So really excited for him.
He also said Benjamin won't be sharing his dessert, just so you know.
I can't believe you didn't call him Jason. I'm like, what happened?
I know that was such a God. It was actually
oversight.
You know what? I think there's a chance it's the middle name. So we'll find out next week.
I love it, buddy. Awesome, man. Okay, well, have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you later.
There you go. That's Jason Stroud, joins us every Tuesday on Sports 1440 from Got Your Back podcast. Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Orangesicle, the Marathon, and the Original, made with oranges, bananas, strawberries, strawberry sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take 1.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee?"
been bugging me for months. First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
Sports 1440. The con man is away on a fatherhood journey as him and his wife became parents to young Benjamin last Friday, and has taken a week off to enjoy that. Pretty special moments, I would think. Lots of fun. He's learned how to change diapers. It's a good time. Well, hey, this is the first few weeks are the best. That's when you should be like, honey, I'll change all the diapers. So once you get into some real food in the kids, that's when all of a sudden it's not necessarily as glorious. Any parent will tell you that. So commands wise, you try to take as many. You want to do the average. Try to up your diapers per 60 early if you can, and then have it average out. That would be wiser. It's food for thought, gents or ladies. Food for thought. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. We're saving you more. Hey, that's just what they do all the time. Whether you want furniture, 25% off. You want mattresses, 40% off. Or $500 off of select major appliances right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. The Oil dropped one last night to the Devils. In your estimation, what was the single biggest contributor to the loss?
Oh. Inability to finish. Because if they had scored some, although your special team's still terrible, but their inability to finish early, I think, cost them because they had a lot of good chances again.
Question number 2. The NFL trade deadline is today or was today. Which move that we've seen today or within the last couple days will be the most impactful in your mind?
Go ahead.
I think the most impactful, just of where they are and where they can potentially be in the NFC, is going to be Marshawn Lattimore with Washington now. I think he's still one of the better corners in the NFL. He's great in man coverage, plays the ball very well, and he's a dog tackling. I think Washington needs someone like that. I also think a sneaky one that isn't maybe getting talked about as much, I think Zadarius Smith is going to be huge. I don't think he has much left in the tank, but I think he has a little bit, and I think it's going to be big for that Detroit team.
Yeah, like you look at it's hard. The one, what about? I'll take White because he's going to a good team in Baltimore, and I think they need a little bit of help in the secondary. So I'll go Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, one of my favorite players ever. Question number 3. We went out to Colorado earlier today with what we heard from Ryan, what you've seen from the club. What is that team's ceiling, in your opinion?
Well, man, you get all those guys back in a span of 10 days. That's huge. So if you missed it earlier, Jonathan Drouin is going to be back. They got Lehkonen back tonight. Nichushkin started skating. Once he is deemed eligible, he's cleared. I think that's the 15th. And by then he'll be in game shape and ready to play right away. So that's 3 top 6 forwards to go along with McKinnon and Rantanen. Then they get Ross Colton back, who is on fire. I would say their ceiling, they're in a pretty tough division. Like Winnipeg, and they still might only finish third, crazy as it sounds, in that division. But we saw them absolutely annihilate Winnipeg last year. So my question still is going to be, do they have any goaltending for Colorado? That's going to be their question. Can they get their goaltending sorted out?
Question number 4. Today is the first day of the college football playoff rankings, coming out in about 4 minutes here. I won't ask for the full top 12, but which is one team you have a gut feeling will be overrated by the committee, and one team you have a gut feeling will be underrated by the committee?
Oh, yeah, the rankings is always fascinating, right? They love it because it always causes huge talking points. Overrated. It's a good question. Guess I'll go. I don't know why, but I'll Penn State maybe will be higher than I think, and then underrated. I'm gonna go with Indiana.
Question number.
Who are you going with? You're the college guy.
I would say I think Bama is going to be rated highly on the strength of the Georgia win, not really taking into account that Bama really, I don't think, is very good this year.
Okay.
And then I think Indiana's a really good choice for a team that will get underrated. I think BYU is the team I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Alabama, I get the reputation thing, and they had a big win over Georgia, but they don't look that great. But I wonder if that win all of a sudden propels them.
What the committee's going to do, I can see into the crystal ball. They're going to end up ranking Missouri, who's horrible. And they're going to give it to Bama's credit and say, well, look, they have a win over this ranked team here. Like it happens every year, but I digress. Question number 5.
Missouri's going to get ranked?
Yeah, I think they're going to have Missouri at number 25, 24, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Like
so they'll be down low.
Yeah, they shouldn't be anywhere near it. But like I said, digress. Question number 5. It is election day in the States. I sent you a list earlier today of all the past presidents' favorite foods. Which president had the best taste, and which favorite food are you staying away from?
Oh God. So I have to admit, you had George Bush, and so I didn't know any of these. You gave me the list, so I looked it up earlier, but I'm like, I don't even know what corn pudding is. So I'm gonna put that one on the list of terrible. So no thanks. I don't even know what it is, but like corn I don't know, corn's not a dessert to me. So I don't know how corn is gonna be up there. The other ones, like, if Roosevelt said coffee, it's not even a food.
That's what was going to be my favorite.
So that would be odd. If I went with favorite though, I'm gonna go. Well, I did laugh at the favorite when it was William Harrison was hard cider, but I will go. I'm a big. I love chicken enchiladas, so I would go with Clinton on that, I guess. There's a lot of other things I don't agree with on Bill, but I guess that would be it.
I think just really quickly, my favorite probably would be Teddy. Can't go wrong with coffee. What would be my least favorite? Obviously never tried it, but I think it was James Garfield. His favorite food was squirrel soup. So I would probably stay away from that one.
Though, right?
1800s.
Different time, man. Oh, yeah. Squirrel soup. That was probably delicacy.
So delicacy, I was just going to say.
Delicacy back then. I was one thing I wish, like if I got to be in charge of North America for a day, and I know they're two different countries, I would put a limit so that if the election is in November, you can start all of these rallies and everything 6 months earlier. That's it. It's way too long. And Canada's saying you don't need this year stuff. Come on, it's ridiculous. First of all, you're getting maybe 65% of the people who are eligible to vote even vote. So, but just a year long, it's a bunch of garbage. It gets, they end up like, it's so, you imagine as adults what we teach our kids and what we don't want our kids to do. And then we allow adults in politics to they go to these debates. They don't even have debates anymore. It's just like, oh, I'm going to insult you. You're going to insult me. No, I'm going to insult you. Like, it's so, lame. So, And trust me, Canada's not getting any better. It's like we follow. We're like the little brother or sister is like, oh, I guess we should do it that way. It's terrible. You shouldn't do it. Like, don't tell me that you need that much time to try to get somebody's vote, especially because most people don't change their vote. If you vote a conservative, you vote conservative. If you vote liberal, you vote liberal. If you vote Republican, for the most part, you vote Republican. There's the odd ones that change, but not a massive amount. So, I don't know. I just think it's too much. I would love to put a limit on it. I think it would be better off for all of us. Who's in agreement with a limit? 6 months. That's all. The campaign trail is 6 months. So it would start May 5th this year until November 5th. Same in Canada. Whenever we call our next election, 6 months. Max. I think that's lots. I think that still might be too much. So we'll see. 5 o'clock. Spec will join us. We got Andy Petrillo coming by. We'll find out why is Declan so down on Missouri. We got a lot of texts wondering about that. It's a good question. I don't know, but geez, not a big Missouri fan. So we'll get to that. And more first Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. 25 years. They're celebrating, baby. Go retro. They're coming back. The marathon, the creamsicle, all back. Some of your faves of all time. Right now, download the Boosters Reward app or stop in at Booster Juice and get one of your favorite smoothies today.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, NHL getting going right now. 4 games with a 5 p.m. puck drop. Senators and Sabres, Bruins and Leafs, Flames and Canadians, and Flyers and Hurricanes. 4 of the 11 games on the schedule today. 2 games in the NBA tipping off right now. Pistons and Hornets, Magic and Pacers. Those are 2 of 12 games in the association today. The Toronto Raptors will be in action in the late game out in Sacramento taking on the Kings. Trade deadline today in the NFL. Commanders trading for New Orleans Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. Steelers picking up receiver Mike Williams and pass rusher Preston Smith from the Packers. The Los Angeles Rams trading Tre'Davious White. He's going to Baltimore, and the Detroit Lions going to be adding pass rusher Zadarius Smith, the veteran, in a deal with division rival Cleveland Browns. NHL news around the league: Braden Point will not be playing for the Lightning tonight in their game against the Blues, and Austin Matthew will be out against the Bruins. NBA news: the league has suspended Philadelphia 76ers star center Joel Embiid for 3 games for an altercation where he shoved the columnist postgame in the locker room. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermal a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take 1.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
We all live in Canada, right? And we all know it gets cold, right? And every second that ticks by, it gets colder and colder. Well, GS Construction is prepared for that. GS Construction is the group that makes sure all those underground pipes that lead to and away from your home stay flowing. Because pipes freeze. You don't want that. So GS Construction has been hard at work as winter approaches, preparing our underground systems to run smoothly. To find out more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models.
With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I have a startling fact. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 Alberta men. This could be your brother, son, father, grandfather, or friend. This November, through our Keep It in Alberta campaign, we're raising money to build a new man van, bringing free, life-saving prostate cancer testing directly to Alberta men. Thanks to our partner, the Agate Foundation, every donation will be matched up to $350,000, doubling your impact. Be part of the fight to eliminate advanced prostate cancer. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to donate today.
We got to spend a night in a castle.
Then we visited a monastery where cured meat was invented.
Our trips are never that cool.
We spent half the week trying to hail a cab.
You guys need to book with Network Travel.
Make your next trip an unforgettable adventure with Edmonton's only travel agency with the network to connect you to the most amazing experiences. Network Travel. Learn more about our upcoming tours to Ireland, the South Pacific, Africa, and more at networktravel.ca.
Now, I should point out the Canadian election cycle is infinitely shorter. I know that. I think legally, it's like 2 months or less. But they do stuff that makes it drag on long, but nothing close to the U.S. So I know we live here, and so we get a lot of U.S. stuff, but it's too much. That's all. It's too much. I don't care what side you're on. It's too much. I don't think there's any sane person to be like, oh, no, this is great. I think it's awesome. Can't see it. It'd be like, remember Oilers fans? Remember when you had to talk about the draft starting in like November? It was too long. And that was something that you had hope and positivity for. There's not a lot of that at times, unfortunately, in the political world. At least you would be, well, maybe this guy. Ooh, geez. But even then, after a while, you're like, oh my God, get here, please. Right? We used to have to take a few months off in February, and then all of a sudden it would go. So, Deck was right. Missouri came in at 24. Declan's favorite team. They just came in at 24. So there you go. It is a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. How about tonight? 50 million. Just remember the deal we have on the show. If you win, you have a party, you invite us. If we win, we'll have multiples for the audience. We'll have loads of fun. So get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. 50 mil. Oof. That'd be nice. Maybe we'd make like annoying campaigns for a while, just for fun. Let's get to the spec report, brought to you by GS Construction, as they continue to work on the Yellowhead, doing a lot of the underground infrastructure, so it can, and it's getting closer, right up to almost 97th Street now. And then you get to 127th Street. Eventually, that's going to be an overpass. Oh, it could be glorious. I think maybe 3 years away from all the way up to 97th Street. Eventually, there's going to be a whole freeway. Could you imagine? Oh, that'll be great. Free sailing all the way in the Yellowhead. Dare to dream. Let's welcome in Mark Spector. Spec, how you doing?
Doing very well. Jay, what's going on in your world, man?
You know what, Spec? We're just trying to solve the woes of the Oilers penalty kill. and how it can get better. We had Struddy, talking from a defensive perspective. He doesn't buy that playing left to right makes that much of a difference, and I would agree with him. He says there's not a lot of plays that on your offside a lot with the puck, right? It's not like we're seeing, oh look, the Oilers have the puck and they can't clear it out, right? That hasn't cost them that I can recall very often on their penalty kills. So it's just they're not in sync. They're not. One guy's going and then one guy's hesitating. They're not all move. Like last year, their penalty kill, man, it would move just like one of those big fish pods. 4 guys go over to the left, 4 guys come over to the right. One guy pinches up, the other guy supports him. Doesn't do his job, just supports him. And right now, there's not a lot of support. There's not a lot of continuity or chemistry on the PK.
Yeah, no, for sure. And they're not giving up a ton of chances, and the goalies aren't giving them any saves. Like that what did this power play last night? 48 seconds or something?
You put the spec up on Twitter. Yeah, it wasn't good, buddy. And then their power play comes over, and like they're -9 right now on the penalty kill. And like if you look at their special teams, they've given up 9 more goals. Like they're not scoring, so that's bad. And then they're giving up a ton. Like you're -9 on special teams. That's almost, like I was saying, their penalty kill goes into a game almost like, well, we're -1 because they've allowed 14 in 13 games. And then their power play doesn't score much. So you're like, well, 9 out of our 13 games, we're trailing 1-0 before the game starts.
Yeah. And this is a team that for the last 5 or 6 years, you count on, 3 out of 4 games, they score a power play goal. So if you get the other night, they got an early 2-0 lead on Calgary. And McDavid wasn't playing. He didn't have any points, and the power play didn't have a goal yet. So there's been a lot of time around here when you get a 2-0 lead and McDavid doesn't have a point, and the power play hasn't scored. It's at least good enough to be a 3 lead, maybe a 4-0 lead. So
yeah,
they haven't won the power or the special teams battles. I can't think of the game that they've won them this year. They're 6-6-1. If this team is winning the special teams battle once in a while, they're probably 7-5-1 or maybe 8-4-1.
And somehow they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. That's the miraculous thing about it. To me, that shows you, I think, kind of how well they've played on 5-on-5 in the fact that their special teams and really there hasn't been a stretch where you're like, okay, you know what? The special teams was terrible for 3 games and now it's gotten better. It's pretty much been a slog all year long, right? Kind of like their 5-on-5 scoring. They had a little, uptick there for 2 games. Great. But for the most part, their 5-on-5 scoring, like I think actually it's funny now, the best part of the Oilers game all season long has been their overall. Now we can go some individuals and some groups, but their overall 5-on-5 defensive play, I don't think you can really complain about it very much.
No. I mean, no one loves their goaltending. Certainly, when you look at the numbers, I mean, they're both at around 880 or 885. So that's tells you they could probably get more saves. But Skinner, both the guys have taken turns. They've each had a couple nights where they've been good. And to me, Jason, let's talk about Skinner. Skinner is a guy. To me, we've watched him long enough, maybe to say this now. To me, he's not a guy that goes out and stands in his head and wins you a whole bunch of games all by himself. He's a guy that when you play proper structurally in front of him and you play a good defensive game, his game is commensurate to keep, the other team to 1 or 2 or some nights 0. The game in Calgary was a good example. The Oilers played well defensively in that game. Stu Skinner got a bunch of chances, but they were chances that weren't, they were predictable chances. They were chances that he could see, and he stopped them. He stopped a couple of breakaways. He played very well and won the game. But the days they force him to stop a bunch of plays off the rush, you have Woodley on once a week, and I listen to him. The days that Edmonton is not structurally sound in front of Skinner, he's not that goalie that wins on a poor defensive night very often.
Not very often, but he has. And there's not a lot of goalies that do, right? Woodley's touched on that a lot, right? Which kind of illustrates maybe why some teams now, Shesterkin this season, 12 games is a little bit of an exception to that because he's given up he's facing a lot of chances. He's just saving them all early on. And if the Rangers probably at some point are going to need to tighten up defensively a little bit. But because it's funny, you look at we talk about the Oilers 5-on-5 play. You know where the Oilers rank 5-on-5 save percentage? 15th. That's what I said. Their 5-on-5 play to me defensively has been fine. You know where they rank 5-on-5 offensively in shooting percentage and actual goals? That's what's killing them, right? Like I keep talking about their special teams and their 5-on-5 offense is the areas of concern. And people still want to talk the goaltender more. And I'm like, guys, goaltending 5-on, yeah, special teams, sure, they're part of it. But their 5-on-5 goaltending is average. It's not like it's 15th. It's in the top half of the league. But their shooting percentage is 30th at 5.74. You ain't winning any games doing that. You're not winning games. Like when they lose games, I said it last year, 8.9% of games in the NHL spec were won when the winning team had two goals or less. 8.7%.
Really?
The Oilers, yes, you're not going to win games that often. It's a myth thinking, oh, there's all these other teams that do it. They don't do it. 117 in the whole league last year where you would win when the winning team had 2 goals or less. Okay, now I'm not talking, now there's the shootout ones where it's 2-2. That doesn't count because then you get 3. That doesn't count. I'm talking actual goals scored, like goals scored in overtime or regulation. And 117 times, that's it. So I look at the Oilers until their offense can help them. Then you're asking your goaltenders, well, guess what, guys? We got to give up 0, 1, or 2 goals and we want a chance to win. And that's, unless you got Shesterkin, like I'm not expecting Stuart Skinner to be that way. Why would I? It's unrealistic.
So you're saying if your goalie gives up 2, you win 90% of the time. Is that what you're saying? Is that how that stat would work?
No, because some games you can win 4-3, right? But you have to, if you only score 2 goals, Spec, if you only score 2,
right,
you're only winning, and then, you're only win if you want to win. In the NHL last year was 8.7% of the 1,320 games.
That's what I'm saying. My point is this. If you're telling me if I only score 2, I win, let's round it up to 9. If I only score 2, I win 9% of the time. That means if my goalie only gives up 2, I win 91% of the time. Right?
In theory, yeah.
In theory,
I don't know if it's that clear, but yeah, sure.
That's I've always sort of, thank you for bringing that up, but that's the analytic I've always said to you. If my goalie gives up 2, don't talk to me about how he played, right? 2's good. If my goalie gives up 2, I should be able to win that game. It's the old Daryl Sutter line. It's a 3-2 league. Now, when you put historically one of the best offenses in hockey in front of that, if that stat for the league is 9%, or let's say 91% when your goalie only gives up 2, I'm going to say to you, with the offense Edmonton has, that stat should be about 95%. That giving up 2 goals, you should win that hockey game. So I'm with you, man. To me, like the game in Calgary is a great example. Skinner gives up 2, it gives them a chance to win. They score 3, get an empty netter, they win 4-2. And this offense should be counted on for 3 every night. If this offense can't give me 3, we're not talking about a goalie here. Let's start talking about the offense.
Oh, well, to me, it's been the offense more than it. Now, goaltenders have had a few games. Obviously, the Columbus game, well, the whole team stunk, I felt.
The whole team stunk. They scored 1 goal. They weren't going to win.
Yeah. Like the one game where if you want to look and say, hey, and I thought the rest of the game he was fine, but the Duchesne goal is one he would like to, it's a 0-0 game. The Oilers dominated, but they couldn't score. And then Duchesne scores on a save that you would like Skinner to make. Totally valid. That's the one. Skinner could have been Dominic Hasek against the Jets and they weren't winning. He could have been Dominic Hasek against Columbus and they weren't winning. So to get upset about those games, I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's misguided. The whole team stunk evenly.
Don't forget that in that Dallas game, Edmonton didn't score a goal till 3 minutes left in the game. Didn't Dreisaitl score?
Yeah, he scored late. And they were all, but the thing was, it was 0-0. They were all over him, and then Dallas scored late in the, right off the power play. Well, they lost the face-off clean, right, not penalty kill again, that one bought it. So, would you like a save there from Skinner? And he even admitted, he goes, you know what? I didn't track that off the stick well. He thought it was going higher, and then it went under his glove. So, what have you. But that's a timely play where you say that could kind of impact the game and maybe deflates you going in, gives Dallas a lot of boost. So I can see that one. If you want to say, hey, that's one where Skinner not making the save impacted the game, I think that's a fair statement. But the other 2 games where everybody's upset about, Winnipeg and Columbus, I'm like, did you guys watch the game? The whole team was terrible.
Yeah, and to me, it's a lot like last night's game. The Oilers had tons of chances to break that game open. They had all kinds of offensive threat, like grit. I had the natural stat trick. I looked it up after the game. The 5-on-5 high danger chances were 13-6 for Edmonton. So sorry, that's not Pickard's fault. Somebody's got to score. Instead of it being 1-0 and 2-0 Jersey, it should have been 3-1 Edmonton, and it wasn't. And give Jake Allen credit, he played great. But, Podkolzin misses an empty net. Hyman has 2 awesome chances and can't beat the goalie. Hats off to Allen. Henrique has the goalie beat, hits the crossbar. So it's those guys get paid to do their end of the business as well. And you can't walk away talking about the goalie every day. This is a team that should be able to get to 3 more nights than not. When they get to 1 or 0, don't come away talking about goaltending here. Not me anyway.
Yeah. The Oilers, you look at like last night, their offense not struggling. It's moving around. They're trying different things. The power play right now, I know McDavid's not on it, but I don't love the 2 defensemen on the first unit spec. Like, I know they haven't had a lot of chances. That's part of it. And that's part to me where the Oilers, if there's one, I'd like them to get a few more second or third chances on teams and force guys to take some penalties. But that 2 defensemen on the first unit, it just looked like Echo and Bouchard thought they were 5-on-5, and they're moving it around there. There's not much urgency. There's not much moving. Like, it was way more static. I don't like that look at all.
Nope, I'm with you. There's a couple things here. They're getting 1 power play a night, for one. So this power play, it needs a little bit of time on ice to work itself. So why are we only getting 1 power play a night here, right? Is that, first of all, McDavid's not playing and he draws more penalties than anyone, but I don't think I'm not blaming the referees here. They're not getting enough calls because they're not possessing the puck enough. They're not taking enough pucks to the net to get calls. So the issue probably starts at 5-on-5. But once you have a power play, I'm with you. We're so used to seeing 4 forwards on a power play in this town. It's been 6 or 7 years. It looks strange. And if it's being considered a fix here for a stagnant power play, Jay, I don't see a fix going on. There's no fix there.
No, they gotta get out of their funk somehow in the power play. Like, I would have more faith that their power play could do it over their penalty kill, but not by much at the rate we're going. What about the Oilers' lack of physicality spec? Last year they were 22.9 hits per 60 in 5-on-5 on the whole season. This year they're at 13, the worst in the NHL. They had 5 hits last night. Now, I don't expect, and by the way, people want to say, well, they have the puck lots. Florida had the most hits per 60 in the NHL last year. They're second this year. Look at their record. Like, that's part of their DNA. They're a physical team. The Oilers are not very physical at all. How much of a concern is it? And I get that you don't have Rafi Torres and Evander Kane, but there's some, like, my goodness, 5 body checks in a game in the NHL. Come on.
Yeah, that was a no-hitter last night on both sides. I don't know what they gave New Jersey, but it was a wide open no-hitter of a game for sure. I guess I'd say to you, you lose Desharnais. Holloway was the guy that threw some hits. Fogle got in on the forecheck and threw some hits. So they've lost. Evander Kane's not playing. This is a team that's not a hugely physical team, and we just eliminated 4 of the more physical players from it. So, I guess we probably should have expected that. Who do they replace these guys with? Podkolzin plays a rather physical game. I don't mind his game as a replacement for all those other guys, but Stetcher's not a hitter. 24 is not a hitter, right? Emberson's not a hitter. They've replaced guys who throw hits with guys who don't throw hits. This isn't a physical team. Nurse, I like Nurse. The more he hits, the more physically he plays, the more I like his game. And we've noticed him this year when he plays physical, he's been pretty successful, but the numbers are the numbers. Now, these are hits numbers. And,
I don't think it changed, but the reason I used last year, it's the same guys marking the hit. So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the Oilers are getting a lot of hits. Like, everybody has the same guys around the league. It's even for everybody. And the Oilers last year were in the top half of the league, 14th or 32nd. It's a significant drop. I'm not going to say it's not consistent because it's consistent for what they have. The system was the same last year than it was this year.
I think it's the guys that went out the door in the summer, Jay. Don't you?
Well, they miss Kane a lot. There's no question about that. Some of the other guys, sure. But guess what? Some guys got to step up and get outside your comfort zone. You can't. And at some point, the coaching staff, You can demand some things. Hey, guys, I'm not expecting you to all be Evander Kane, but I'm expecting you to show up and guess what? Get outside. Corey Perry is showing he's outside his comfort zone. He's never a fighter for the longest time in his career, but he senses the moment he does something. Get some gamesmanship.
Yeah, I'm with you. To me, it's your depth forwards, right? It's your depth forwards, but I'm looking at your depth forwards, right? Jan Mark's not a big hitter. Henrique's not a big hitter. I'd like more out of Brown for sure in all aspects of the game. I don't think Brown's having a very good start at all here. He's back to playing invisible hockey and getting nothing done. He should be a guy that could throw some hits because he skates so well, right? Ryan's not going to be a hitter. Philp just showed up. He's not going to be a hitter. Perry's doing what you just described. Like, their bottom six isn't a physical group, man. That's all there is to it. And the new defenseman in town, Dermott's not a hitter. Stetcher's not a hitter. Emberson's not a hitter. So I'm back to telling you that the guys in the roles, and look at your top six, there's no Tom Wilson in the top six here. So the bottom six and the depth defenseman, even Kulak's a nice player. I like him a lot. He's not a big hitter. So your depth defenseman and your depth forwards, you don't have any hitters in there. You don't have guys that's their calling card. So your stat is a strong stat, but I can't tell you I'm really surprised by it.
Yeah, well, just one where they're going to have to make some other change. They can't just say, well, we'll add a right defenseman and everything's solved for this team. I think obviously Kane will help that when he returns, no question, but there's going to have to be some other finagling between now and the trade deadline, I think, for this group. Just look at them overall and build it how the team is built.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do in the summer or in season. I don't disagree with you, but there's only so much you can do with the cap situation. They got guys here that can give you a lot more, and I think the improvement is going to come 2/3 from the guys that, if it's going to come at all, it's going to come 2/3 from the guys they have. Again, I don't want to pick on Brown, but here's a guy that's giving you a quarter of what he should be giving you. And they got other guys in the same boat. So, yeah, they're going to add some players, but they better add some of the guys that got dressed already in Oilers jerseys that we're not seeing every night.
Good stuff, Spec. We'll chat with you tomorrow, man. Have a good one.
All right, Jake.
That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. She was in town last night. We'll talk a little Amazon. Also, what were your thoughts for those of you who watched it on Amazon Prime? Give me your feedback, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox, EWEL, your partner in power since 1975.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's. In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Ain't it beautiful?
The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
5:31. Welcome back. Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Also, sports1440.ca as we get to our football report mixed in with a little hockey, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Before the winter cold comes, stay warm. LegacyHeating.ca is Andy Petrillo from One Soccer, CBC, and of course the NHL on Amazon Prime. Joins us, Andy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am excellent. I guess let's quickly get your thoughts. You were in Edmonton last night for the game and the broadcast, and the Oilers. I don't know how many Oilers games you've been able to see this season or not, but their special teams has been a consistent, ongoing issue for this group, and their 5-on-5 scoring has been their 5-on-5 finish. Generating chances isn't their problem. Finishing is their problem.
Yeah. The second that the New Jersey Devils went on the power play, I wanted to see just how things worked, because how does this team have a penalty kill that's last in the league? And you just see how easy they allow the other team to maneuver about and to pass the puck, and nobody's really getting into any kind of shot lanes, and it's just clear chances on net for them. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that is a coach thing that needs to change personnel, if they need to also just kind of deploy a new system as well and how they attack the penalty kill. That's for sure. I don't know if that's the players needing to dig in, like kind of do something about it. The power play, this one also leaves me scratching my head, because, they're kind of near the bottom or middle of the pack on that one. And it's like you have such firepower, but this is also the same type of problem that another team that has a ton of offense, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the only thing I can think of when I watch them is you have a lot of guys who are looking for that perfect shot. They're looking for always that perfect pass to do something pretty, to have this highlight reel goal. And sometimes things are okay to be ugly. Sometimes it's okay to take a shot on net and have it go off one of your, a teammate's butt because he's gone hard to the net and created some sort of screen, or it goes off, an elbow, a shoulder, whatever. It doesn't have to be pretty. But it just seems like sometimes when you do have such skilled players and you do have such offensively gifted players, they're just always looking for that perfect opening. They're always looking for this perfect play, perfect pass. And then before you know it, you end up getting caught. You've been stuck on the perimeter for a while. 2 minutes is up. Bob's your uncle. And you don't have a goal. And that just kind of seems to be, the case, even like a little bit of what I saw last night. And then to your point about the finish, like I'm watching this first period, and for a team that played the night before, give them credit. They came out firing. I mean, Adam Henrique alone was all over the net. Now, mind you, maybe it was Jake Allen's night, but there were some moments where it's like they shoot it wide. They hit the crossbar. That's not a goalie making saves. Yeah. And it's like, what is going on here? Right. So, yeah, there's a little bit of lack of finish. And the metrics, the analytics, especially in speaking to Chris Knobloch, he'll say everything of like everything is in their favor. Even when I asked him about Zach Hyman, he's like, all his high danger shots, like all his chances, expected goals, he's like, they're all there. They just weren't scoring. And then, he finally scores in back-to-back games. I'm like, that's all fine and dandy, but at some point your numbers need to also mesh with the real thing.
Yes.
So, I know that it was not a great game, But at the same time, I mean, it's a team that played the night before. The New Jersey Devils, they are a team that hasn't had really a training camp because they had to go play in that global series in Prague. They haven't really had practice time. So when they played Calgary, they took a few days, they stayed, and they went to Banff. And they did the team bonding and the team building, and they did the sulfur springs, and they did all that great stuff that just made them feel rejuvenated and refreshed. And then they didn't even leave last night. Like we all know, they hop on a charter, they go. Once again, Sheldon Keefe just wants his players to be together. So it was like a perfect storm for not a good night for the Edmonton Oilers, coming on a back-to-back situation, and the New Jersey Devils having just soaked in the sulfur springs and Banff. So there you go. There's your matchup for the night.
Now, let's get to some, speaking of matchups, let's get to the CPL final. It's Forge FC and Cavalry FC, and Forge has been to every final.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad for the growth of the league, in your opinion?
The fact that we're talking more about it at One Soccer leads me to believe we're at this fork in the road. So I think right now it's pretty exceptional what Forge is doing. They're the beacon of light for this league. They're incredible. They're great ambassadors. The fact that they do make the final, so they've won 4 or 5. This year they won the league title, and with that also comes qualification, CONCACAF Champions Cup big tournament, right? So the fact that they have CPL teams competing, so it's really, really strong. And I mean, they've become a story now because it's like, whoa, right out of the gate, we have ourselves a dynasty. Right out of the gate, we have an organization that every other organization should be aspiring to be.
True.
But I do feel like we're at that fork in the road now where if more teams don't start being competitive and don't start making the playoffs and also just don't start making the finals, I do believe that losing also loses fan base. When you are a league, so they're going to wrap up their 6th year, when you're still a league that's less than a decade old. Because the more teams you have winning, the more teams you have making the final, the more invested you will have from various fan bases, right? Like if this is an established league, it's 20, 30, 40 years in, and suddenly you have this dynasty emerging, well then, c'est la vie.
Yeah.
But to me, I still think like as much as, I can talk, till I'm blue in the face about storylines with Forge and the rematch now between Forge and Cavalry and how, Forge was down and out last year. It was supposed to be Cavalry, but Forge pulled it off and it was incredible and amazing. I can talk about once again, every single CPL side this year in the Canadian Championship, including Forge beating an MLS side. But at the end of the day, we have the same 2 teams.
Yeah.
And if Cavalry doesn't win, Jason, then I'm sitting there going, this is incredible what Forge is doing, but holy crap, this is the exact same story over and over again. So I think we're at that fork in the road where let this year play out, but next year, it's got to be another team in that. It's got to be another team in that final.
So are they just a better run organization? They spend more money. Why are they better?
So you definitely have to give their head coach, Bobby Smirniotis, credit, but they're also, and this is another reason why it's no surprise that Forge and Cavalry are the 2 strong teams, because they're also the 2 teams before the league was even formed that were competing in developmental league. So, Calgary was in the PDL, and then also Bobby Smirniotis and his brother Costa Smirniotis, a lot of national team players love them because they came through their academy called Sigma FC. So basically, Bobby went from Sigma FC, took all his players from that academy, right? And then just kind of transplanted them. Same thing with Tommy Wheeldon Jr. of Cavalry. He took all his players, Calgary Foothills, which was the development team, and went, boom, we're elevating you now to Calgary FC in the CPL. So players have been together for a long time, been in this system for a long time. So for sure, they hit the ground running. No doubt they have an advantage over a lot of these other teams. But that's why I say, now when you head into year 7, when you head into year 8, these other teams have to figure it out, or I do think we're going to start talking about it hurting rather than helping.
Yeah, like there's something to be said. You can have a dominant team when you're established because then they become the big hated organization, right? The New England Patriots for a while in the NFL, the Yankees for a while in MLB, even in the NHL, Tampa Bay for a few years. People are like, God, I get sick of Tampa Bay, right? But that's okay because you know what? They're all established, and you know what? Now there's something to chase. But if it's a young fledgling league and it's always the same, that becomes an issue for sure. Now, looking at Now Canada Soccer is holding a camp for 19 MLS players.
Yeah.
What do you know? Like, what's Jesse Marsh looking for in this camp?
So I think what he's trying to do is he's keeping MLS players, in particular, the Canadian players who most of them play on Toronto FC and CF Montreal. And as we know, those two teams have not made the playoffs. He's got to make sure that they're still training, staying in shape, that he still has eyeballs on them. He's bringing in some new players as well because he wants to continue to scout. So that's the main thing. And that's what's really important. And that's why it's also no surprise that no Vancouver Whitecaps players have been called into camp because they're in the playoffs, which, by the way, they won their last match. They've tied it against LA. So they're going to a third and deciding game because it's best of 3. So pretty incredible. Vancouver obviously looking to move on. So yeah, so you have kind of, your normal players and, Jonathan Osorio and Richie Larea. But then you also have, again, some young players and one in particular, Shola Jimo of York United. So as we're talking about CPL and everything, so York United, they were in the playoffs. They were playing Atletico Ottawa with the chance to move on. And he scores a screamer in the dying minutes to actually tie it up. That game ended up going to penalty kicks. It was very dramatic. Unfortunately for York United, they do end up losing. But this kid's 16 years of age. He's had a really solid season, and he's clearly caught the eye now of Jesse Marsh. And I know I'm playing the same old fiddle here over and over again, but I still feel like it needs to be driven home. This is why the CPL exists, because these kinds of players, especially at young ages, and remember, Jesse Marsh said this. He's like, we can't be scouting guys when they're already 25. We need to be scouting them when they're 14, 15, 16. And now the Canadian Premier League is a place where these guys can go and play, especially on Canadian soil. Not go overseas, get lost in the mix of certain European academies, which will always favor their own before, a foreigner. And Canadians are obviously considered foreigners. So this is a really big opportunity, for Jimo. And in fact, he's the only non-MLS player who's been called into this camp by Jesse Marsh. So I like the fact that Jesse Marsh is supportive of the CPL. He's keeping an eye on it, and he wants to see what these players can do, especially at the national level. So it's really about just these guys, Jason, keeping their feet wet and making sure that they're not getting rusty, because there are some big matches coming up, right? November 15th, November 19th against Suriname, quarterfinals, CONCACAF Nations League. So everyone needs to be ready to go for that because they want to make the Final Four. Again, we keep talking about a trophy for this federation that they haven't won since 2000. So they have to qualify for that Final Four.
And Jimo, I know he's a super young player, but what's the projections? What's the scouting report for him?
Really, just has cerebral, right? Just able to read the play. Really good goal scorer. Obviously doesn't buckle under pressure already at that age. Is already pretty composed. And again, like, he comes on in. This is a playoff game. This is an elimination game. His team is down. No problem. Scores a goal. And he's done it all season long. So he's kind of a clutch in that sense. So I think they really love his composure, the fact that he doesn't seem to be fazed by the occasion, and he can put the ball in the back of the net. Obviously now this is where Jesse Marsh wants to bring him in. He wants him against tougher competition. He wants to see him against world-class defenders. That'll be the next evolution in his game. So that's why Jesse Marsh recognizes that, and he's bringing him into camp. So I think this is the next step for him, and it's very exciting.
Andy, great stuff as always. Really appreciate it. We will chat with you again next Tuesday. Have a great week.
All right. See you later.
There you go. That's Andy Petrillo from Mon Soccer and CBC, and of course now Amazon Prime for the NHL. We'll return. We got a lot of texts. People are fired up with the Oilers. It's good. I like it. Where can they go? Like, hey, the Oilers are 6-3-1 in their last 10, so they played better. But a lot of it is on the back of their 5-on-5 defending, because they're not scoring a ton, and their special teams, you all know where their special teams is. So it's funny. If I would have asked you to list the areas of concern you had for the team at the start of the year, I think that might have been number one out of 5-on-5 scoring, 5-on-5 defending, power play, penalty kill. It probably would be number one. It's actually been the best. It's crazy. So maybe that's a good sign for the Oilers. The other areas should be able to pick up. Let's see. Quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free play in the month of November. PlayAlberta.ca.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta. Better wages, lower taxes, better job opportunities with our thriving economy, better chances for advancement, plus a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service, it's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
The zero-turn blow and sales event is on now at the Lawnmower Hospital. Get great savings on all in-stock zero-turn tractors from trusted brands like Toro, Country Clipper, and Hustler Turf. Backpack blowers are in stock for the leaves and fall cleanup. And of course, the snow. Our Toro snow blowers are in stock now too. Be prepared because winter will be here soon. LawnmowerHosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at the Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and the Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See you in store for details.
We got to spend a night in a castle.
Then we visited a monastery where cured meat was invented.
Our trips are never that cool.
We spent half the week trying to hail a cab.
You guys need to book with Network Travel.
Make your next trip an unforgettable adventure with Edmonton's only travel agency with the network to connect you to the most amazing experiences. Network Travel. Learn more about our upcoming tours to Ireland, the South Pacific, Africa, and more at networktravel.ca.
Temperatures are cooling, leaves are falling, autumn is officially here, but that also means hockey is back. However, your vehicle will need something much better than Pumpkin Spice brake pads to get you to the game safely this season. Whether you're hitting the rink or the road, Napa Auto Parts has got all the top quality parts like brakes, batteries, starters, alternators, and more to prepare your vehicle for the cold months ahead. So drop the Pumpkin Spice and save that for your latte. Visit your local Napa store with over 85 locations in Alberta for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured.
$5:49. Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar with you on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Thanks so much for staying with us all afternoon. And guess what? Your loyalty will be paid off because McDonald's, they have the fan day deals on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. When you use the only through the McDonald's app, where you can get $4 Big Macs, McChickens, or filet of fish. And right now, we got a $50 GC for you. All you got to do is text in your name and your favorite McDonald's item. 833-401-1440. We'll pick a winner before the top of the hour. 833-401-1440, and you'll get a $50 GC mailed right to your home. You don't even have to go anywhere to get it. We make it as easy as possible with this one. So 833-401-1440. Your name and your favorite McDonald's item. We got a lot of text, 833-401-1440. Guys, really good conversation. Some stuff I didn't know about the penalty kill, shooting, and hitting. My question is, Gregor, you mentioned the construction of the roster. Do you think it's something that's fixable during the year? Well, I think there's a few things. I'll be stunned if this team continues to struggle offensively 5-on-5. I just, and their power play, like at some point, their power play is going to wake up. Now, I'm not expecting it to be 29 or 30% like it's been for, like, that's high bar, but it can be a lot more consistent than it's been this year. I don't think that's unrealistic. So I guess I would start there. I think they're capable of more in that regard. So yes. Now the penalty kill, I can't just say that it's, logically it shouldn't stay at 60%. But how much better is it going to be? And when is that going to start to improve? Right? Like, it's not just, the odds will say, the numbers say it'll improve. So, we'll not worry about it. They got to figure it out. And they got to find a way to get it moving in the right direction sooner than later. They just have to. There's no other option. You can't, I think, just quietly sit there and say, oh yeah, it'll figure itself out. That's not ideal, at least for me. I don't think that's the best way for them to go about it. So the good news for the Oilers, as I mentioned, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10, despite these issues. So now they got Vegas coming tomorrow. Vegas, pretty good team this year, but kind of odd in how great they've been at home, dominating 8-0, outscoring teams 43-19 on home ice. On the road, they've been outscored 18-11. So they've allowed 19 goals in 8 home games and 18 goals in 4 road games. They're 0-3-1. So they've been a very different team home and away early this year. The Fortress, as they call it in Vegas, it is one of the best atmospheres in the NHL right now. Some of you have probably been there for road trips and you'd be like, no, I don't want to admit it, but yeah, it's pretty loud in there. It's pretty fun. And it is. So, obviously they feed off of it. That, the players have talked about it. They love playing there. They love the atmosphere. Everything's great. So, Edmonton, they got to use the crowd, get a power play goal early, maybe deliver a check, try to get something that will get you involved. Right. That would help. I would hope. Anyway. Hey guys, what about Lawton in Philadelphia? I'd have to look up his cap hit. The problem with the Oilers right now, they could. The thing is, because Kane's coming back, so they're going to want to accrue cap space, because I think they knew the whole time to go into LTIR would kind of be putting a Band-Aid on something, and then you'd have to get rid of guys, and maybe you'd have to pay even more to get rid of them just to activate a guy like Kane. And I think they miss Kane. So I look at Lawton. I think he's $3 million. Yeah, he's $3 million. He's got another year left. They don't have cap space for him, right? Like, they don't have room for a $3 million player right now. They just don't, unless they're moving out a $3 million player. So if you look at their forwards who make $3 million, who are you moving out for Lawton? Are you going to move out Skinner? I don't think so. So that's the challenge there, right? If they're looking to add any guys near the bottom, I think it's going to be guys who are, you got to be making way less money. That's just how it goes. So that'll be easy. Deck, did you pick a winner?
Kelsey, first one texted the big arch. Jason, Kelsey, you are.
Oof. Well, there you go, Kelsey. Nice. Big arch. It is good. It's great. So we'll have a little fun for the next few days, giving away some GCs to Mick D's. Have yourselves a great evening, everyone. On behalf of Declan Kruger, Jason Gregor, be safe. Enjoy Tuesday night. Hockey, basketball, the election, if that's your thing. Enjoy. Let's get to the Krugman, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling Home with no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
I got it.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, games in action in the NHL. At the end of the first, it is the Sabres leading the Sens 1-0. Bruins and Leafs tied at 0-0. Canadians and Flames also tied at that same mark. Flyers and Hurricanes 1-1. And with 10:16 to go in the first period, the Penguins and Islanders tied at 0. 3 games getting going in just over 5 minutes time here. The Lightning and Blues, Kings and Wild, and the Utah Hockey Club in Winnipeg taking on the Jets will all see their puck drop at 6 p.m. 3 games later on in the evening, Kraken and Avs at 7, Canucks and Ducks at 8, and the late game in the NHL, the Blue Jackets and Sharks at 8:30. Trade deadline day in the NFL, the Washington Commanders trading for New Orleans Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, the Steelers landing Jets wide receiver Mike Williams, and Packers pass rusher Preston Smith. Los Angeles Rams traded cornerback Tre'Davious White to the Baltimore Ravens. The Detroit Lions added pass rusher Zadarius Smith in a deal with the Browns, and the Dallas Cowboys acquired wide receiver Jonathan Mingo and a 2025 seventh-round pick from the Panthers. NHL news is Braden Point is not currently playing in his game for the Lightning. Austin Matthews also out tonight for the Leafs as they're playing the Bruins. NBA news, the league did suspend Philadelphia 76ers star center Joel Embiid for 3 games for an altercation where he shoved a columnist post-game in the locker room. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Fox Sports Radio is up next. The Kevin Carrier Show tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with Brandon Douglas. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official